Hey everybody, welcome back to Traveler's PROC. Today we are joined by my good friend MOSWAL, the one and only Jean-Qui Alpoche Loki extraordinaire.
Right.
And did I say Vulcan?
Dude, Vulcan, I was gonna say Vulcan's gotta be in there.
Zeus.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe a
There's
little
Zeus.
Zeus. You just love the
Oh,
mobile gods. That's your thing.
well, I think a mobile gods and Smite are like genuinely broken.
I agree, actually.
I just been playing like Nuwa and Anubis for some time I get mid right now, and it's so dumb, man.
I'm not sure if I'm on the actually dude, Nuwa Fog's gonna be crazy next patch.
I'm pretty sure Nuwa's OP right now. It just doesn't fit any mid's playstyle.
They buffed her like it was like 80 movement speed or something, right? That they buffed
Yeah.
on her fog.
Yeah, I think just like go across the map.
Dude, you know what I wish I could do? I wish I could go back and play on the old Siege map. And I wish I could like level 1 invade with my whole team and like Nuwa Fog in there. Because it'd be like it'd keep up with you at that level. That'd be so fun.
Dude, that map is sick actually. I love that siege map.
The same.
If I made a tier list of maps, it would be like Conquest in like SSSSS tier. Then that's siege maps in A tier. Then everything else for me is in C tier, I'm pretty sure. That's where I'm at.
Arena is D tier, man. Arena's the worst game mode in Smite.
Really?
You play
Yeah,
Arena
dude,
for worshippers, though.
Have you played Arena recently? People literally don't even. They play like 4 tanks and they just spin in.
Yeah, well, that is the problem. Like the way people play it, it's definitely miserable. But I do feel like if I wanted to like spam worshippers and like brainlessly like run it down, Arena's the best.
Wait,
for
are they doing something to Arena next patch with the avatars like skin things I saw?
Yeah, did they say anything on the patch notes? I don't know if I read anything, but they tweeted it, right?
I think so. I don't know. I think there's some interesting changes. Maybe Arena will be fun next patch. I have no idea. I'm definitely curious. But yeah, that siege map was sick. Okay, the reason why I hate every other game mode in Smite, this is a rant. I don't know if I've done this rant on this podcast before, is because you can't have isolated fights on any other map besides Conquest. And then the Siege map was the other map that you could kind of have isolated fights. Because what happens is, on Slash and on Clash, when you played those game modes... Okay, wait, Domination's B tier as well, I'm going to say as well. I actually like that map, because that's another map that you can have isolated fights where it's not constant 5v5s. Because like on Clash and Slash, the maps are really fun and they're cool, but what ends up happening is a fight starts in one lane and then everybody ends up in that lane.
Yeah.
Same thing with Assault. People are just playing far back, and if it is a fight, it's always a 5-on-5, which I love 5-on-5 fights, but like it's every single fight. And then same thing with Assault and Arena are like kind of the same with how fights are. Just Arena, you could actually sit in your base pretty easily.
Yeah, the thing I hate about it the most is just people being able to sit in their base or their tower. That kills Assault for me instantly. Like I just can't
also the worst part about Arena, in my opinion, is like I don't think tanks are like that OP in like Conquest, but in Arena, oh my god, they're so
broken.
dumb.
I mean, if a tank is even level with you, they're gonna be broken.
Yeah. And people literally just buy War Flag Talisman every game so you can't hit anybody. That game mode has been ruined, man.
Dude, you ruined it with War Flag.
Oh, yes, doing the Gilgamesh thing, that was the most fun ever, man.
Dude, War Flag in Arena, do you guys know the thing where like if you like get too many procs off of it, it just stops working?
Yeah.
I did that on Gilgamesh and like Gold Cap.
Yeah, I love trying to upgrade
I thought it was a bug.
It is a bug, no?
Yeah. No, so that's what it was. It was just you just overcapped gold. I didn't even know that's how it worked.
Oh, that you like overcap the gold or whatever?
Yeah, I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
Well, it's weird because it doesn't even give you gold anymore, right?
Well, yeah, it's different. It's a different item. It still does it? In Arena?
Yeah, it still does it. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, because I played I don't know how to pronounce him. Charon. I don't know how to say
Charon, I think.
Yeah. I played him just like get a feel for him. And I like to do the thing where like I upgrade it at level 15 and I try to not back until I max out my stacks and it's not healing me anymore. And it's so funny because like when you're level 15 tank in Arena, like I'm I'm just unkillable. Like I had like War Flag, Talisman of Energy, and I was just spam paddling people. It was so fun.
I didn't even know that's how it worked. The bug. I knew that's a bug, but I didn't realize if you got too much of it, that's why. Because I used to play Charybdis all the time. And there was some games where it would just let me go almost all the way to the end of the game. And there was a game one time. It's like my most legendary arena game ever, where I was Charybdis. I went War Flag because it works on all 3 of your little hits.
Mm-hmm.
It works on your splash hits on your 1 as well. So you just you insta cancel it because if their team's grouped up, you just get 5 War Flag stacks instantly.
It's so OP, man.
Or 6. And I had a game where I was up 10k gold, and I think I remember I told Slaney about it, and he played it like every game last
10K?
year. On every person.
That's
I had 10,000 more gold than everybody else in the arena match at the end of the game. I remember I had 4 items when everybody else finished their first item that game. And I remember I walked out I had 2 crit items with Bloodforge. I walked out and I 2-shot all their backliners. And I was like, what is going on? It was probably the most fun I've ever had in Smite. Like, ever.
Dude, I wish I knew about that.
I wish I streamed
is that still
it.
a thing?
Well, no, because War Flag is different now, right? So you can't do it.
Oh, right, the gold. Yeah. Dude, I wish I got to play that. That sounds so fun.
Dude, it was so disgusting.
Oh my god.
It also worked like a little bit like that on Gilga because this one's considered an ability the whole time. So each time you hit them, you got like 1,000,000 gold. I remember a game I did like 15k healing because I just war banner everybody.
Dude, I played that against you guys in scrims. Or do you remember that?
I don't.
It was
remember. Maybe
it
was last
like
year, right?
Yeah, it was like spring season 9. Yeah,
Spring
we still had
season
Sam.
9 when you still Sam.
Yeah,
I might have remembered that actually. Was he Thanatos that game? Did you have a Thanatos on your team?
Maybe, I don't know. I think I played it versus you guys a couple times. We probably did. Sam loved whipping out a little Thanatos here and there.
Because I remember a game where you guys had Gilgamesh and Thanatos, and you guys were just zooming like crazy.
Yeah, dude, it actually is. Tanks definitely are broken in arena, but it really is the most fun thing. Like, I feel like tanks get all the fun, like, abusable bugs like that, where you're just running around and, like, perma-healing or getting a ton of gold. Honestly, anytime I hear anyone talk about gold generation stuff, I just miss Travelers so much. Or, Talaria, whatever it's called.
Both of them, yeah. Well, Talaria...
Yeah.
So it's Talaria Travelers.
One, right?
Talaria is the physical one, and Travelers was the
Yeah.
magic one, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite one was whenever Cyno was like the only one buying them in jungle and he walked in the lane and get like 100 gold.
This is Deja?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I remember Travelers came out and I was buying it every game, and I was in Wolfie's game the entire night. The day Travelers came out, and I was going Travelers in the Mystical Mail. And
the Travelers gave XP when it came out.
Yeah, it gave XP. And I had Mystical Mail, and I was just walking around having my Mystical Mail proc my Travelers. And like I probably played like 10 or 12 games with Wolfie, and I was always like hitting level 20 as support as like the carry set level 20 the same night, that entire night it came out. And he's like, why is he... Wait a second, Mystical Mail Travelers, and like hit him on his stream, and he was like, oh my god, that's broken.
I love that. That was season 2, is that right?
Season 2 or 3,
Dude, I think it was season 2, because I remember, I think I was watching Shadow Q back then, and I think he was just a really big CDR boots guy.
Yeah.
And I remember him being like, yeah, I don't actually think it's like that good or whatever, the gold. And that's just like not as good in a fight. And I'm pretty sure there was a game he streamed that I was watching, and you did that on the other team, and you got super fed, and he was like, okay, maybe it's good. It's just so funny. When like the light bulb clicks in people's heads. It's so funny. I love that stuff.
Well, people were buying him on mid too.
Yeah.
I think. Or they should have been.
I don't even know if people were. No, it wasn't there for a while.
Yeah, I feel like it was too, yeah.
Like if that was in the game now, dude, okay, I just thought of something. When Benevolence got announced and they showed that item, the upgrade to Compassion. Was it called Compassion? No, it was called something else. What was it called?
No, it's called Compassion from the start.
Was it still called Compassion at the start?
Yeah.
where you gained XP or no, sorry, it was benevolence itself that just gave you XP in gold.
Yeah. Just the
Yeah,
base version
not
did it.
compassion. Yeah, compassion was actually not as good because
Yeah,
it
you want the XP.
didn't give the gold splitting back then. They added that on after they changed benevolence actually. So it wasn't compassion, it was just benevolence. And you keep benevolence later into the game, I'm pretty sure, than you normally would, and you buy compassion. Because compassion was always really broken. But the reason why you would not go compassion after benevolence got nerfed was because Sentinels had the gold spooling on it. So there was really, I like that they add the gold spooling like on all the different
Yeah.
support starters now because it makes them all relevant. And I like how they changed Warflag this year so you could actually buy it as well.
Yeah. I was gonna say, did you see the Spartan flag change on the new patch?
Yeah, they gave him 2 more gold spooling and attack speed, right?
Yeah, I think that could be interesting.
Is
That item I feel like has like never been good in Conquest.
is that MOSWAL approved or what?
Spartan flag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the new
Yeah,
one.
if people start war flag soloing, I can see it.
Yeah, I feel like it would actually be good solo because you get a little bit of you get power from it
Oh,
too, right? It doesn't get prot.
yeah. Oh my god, okay, wait. We'll go back to the benevolent story after this, but this now there's a Spartan flag story. So I was watching Twig stream like a month ago, and he was playing Hebo,
Of
and
course.
he had Bumbas, or was he Poseidon? I can't remember. He's either one of the. He was one of the mage
He's
guys.
always a water
Yeah,
god.
it was Hebo or Poseidon. He was jungling, and he had Bumbas. And Moswell, I feel like you would go the Exodia build. I kept typing, you gotta go the Exodia, because he was really mad that his support got Spartan Flag. Because Spartan Flag just gives percentage power, right? 10%, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had Bumba's Spear as well.
Oh, that's OP.
He didn't get Bumba's Spear, he got Bumba's Hammer!
No.
And I was like, why? And then he had 6k gold and he bought 3k defense pots instead of buying both of the 3k pots.
What?
So he could have had. Remember watching his stream. I was literally typing, "You're missing out on the Exodia build." He could have had 3k power pot, red buff, Bumba Spear, and Spartan Flag all together. He could have had. That's Exodia, right? That has to be the best build you could
like
possibly
2,000
have.
power. Yeah, get like 2k power late game or something as a mage.
I don't know if he was like not realizing that he had Exodia like in his hand, but he just fumbled it. I was actually going crazy in his chat. I'm like, why you hate Spartan Flag this much that he's gonna go Bumba's Hammer, dude, and ruin it?
Wait, did he understand what you were saying after?
No, he had no clue what I was saying. He's like, "What are you saying, Exodia build? What is that?" That's what he kept saying.
You were going Spartan Flag for a little bit whenever we were playing ranked. I forget what year it was, but I remember you doing it. I had like 1600 power at some point.
Yeah, I was trying it, I think.
I was gonna say, I think I remember like season 8, people trying it a bit when it first came out. Because back
you were
then,
doing
like,
it in Boja.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I feel like maybe I was against you guys or something, but I remember because everybody would build like Deso Yamojo, right? Like it'd be pretty common. I remember people just building it on her and just like one tapping people because you'd still just slam. Kind of OP, honestly.
Dude, that Yamoja clip? Did you ever see that clip I had where I had Deso and I killed like 5
Dude, the
people?
Titan, right?
Or 4 people on the Titan? Yeah, that was so broken.
I don't think I typed anything in your chat, but I was watching you, and I instantly clipped it and sent it to my team. I was like, "This is the funniest shit ever."
Oh, you're the one who clipped it?
I know I clipped it. I don't know if I was like the one, but I did clip it. Yeah,
that's funny. That's awesome.
I love it, dude. It's so funny.
That was broken. But that was just because the Titan.
You know what my favorite thing about that was? You're instantly like, "That's Deso value, baby. That's Deso value." I was laughing so hard. All right, let's get to the real stuff. MOSWAL, what are your serious opinions on Cyno?
What was the question? Sorry, my bad.
Your serious opinions on Cyno. Why does he bully you?
I don't know. He's been playing ranked with me recently, and he's changed, man. He used to be so aggressive, and now he's like, "Oh, you can split this," but he doesn't let me do the Dublayun. Like, he doesn't let me do the speed red thing. And every other mid laner gets to do it.
He takes his speed for himself?
Yeah, he just will split red and then go solo speed. He won't do the Dublayun.
Dang, dude. That's messed up.
Do you think Paul and Baskin changed him?
Yeah. Cyclone. He gets yelled at probably now. He's the one who gets it.
Okay, this is kind of I mean, I was just asking a troll question, obviously, but like, do you guys have a lot of discussions like when you played together, or just other teams in general? Have you had a lot of arguments over like who gets what farm?
Well, when I played with MOSWAL, Cyno would just say that's my farm, and MOSWAL would just say
Yeah.
okay. There would
But
be no
back
argument.
then, there was actually a good reason for it though, because back then mages were probably the most broken they've ever been in Smite's history.
They were
You
so
literally, you
nuts,
did
man.
not need farm to do damage. Like
Just
you just
Reaver.
got 4 items and you just kill
It
people.
was literally get Reaver and Magus, and tanks just melted in front of you.
Yeah.
And that's so broken.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
One of
think
the
it's
most fun
funny,
things
like
ever.
as the support, to hear those arguments, because I'm just like, I don't get it anyways. I'm just here to watch the show.
I remember MOSWAL was like, I'm gonna do backs. Like, every time he would say, I'm gonna do backs, Cyno would tell him no, and I would just see him walking out of base, walking towards backs, and he'd be like, okay, he just walks up mid lane. I feel like every other mid laner would do the back cam still. But Cyno would say, don't do my backs, and MOSWAL would actually listen to him every single time. And it was so funny. MOSWAL was like, okay, and then he would just walk back to mid and just not care.
Dude, I remember when we picked up Sam in season 7, the first like argument or whatever that we had as a team was Sam arguing with Twig, who had like just role swapped mid, arguing about like who gets what farm. And Twig was like, oh, like, well, what do you want to accomplish? Do you want to like split everything efficiently? Do you want to like just have the map cleared as quickly as possible, and you don't care who gets what? And I remember the funniest quote I've ever heard with that stuff is Sam's like, I just think we should be farming fairly. And Twig was like, what does that mean, farming fairly? And he's like, well, like, if I bring something over for you to split, like, or if I hold something for you, you couldn't bring it over back then, but like, if I hold a camp for you, like maybe you hold a wave for me, and we just make sure everyone's splitting it evenly. And it was basically just Sam saying like, yeah, I feel like I should have more farm, but I don't exactly know how, but I do deserve more farm, is all he was saying basically. I feel like it changed though. I feel like it used to be the junglers who were greedy, and now the mid laners just clear the map. Like every mid laner just takes everything.
I think that's funny though, because like I played a lot of jungle recently, and every single time I see the mid try to split literally everything, I'm like, dude, why do you care? That role literally does not matter in ranked to like 6 items. And they just they're like level 11 while you're level 9, and they're still like taking everything. It's so weird.
Dude, I feel like maybe it's just mid harpies or something. I don't know, but they get so far ahead. It's actually gross.
They get so far ahead, but I still feel like they don't like. Every single time I play jungle, I just will like go kill the mid, and they're still like playing specific characters like Kibo, Baba, and stuff. Like I feel like it's just so like, and jungle makes no sense either. You'll be like level 9, and then you'll get 1 kill, and you'll be like level like 13. Makes no sense.
Oh, I lost my train of thought.
So I feel like a lot of people don't even know you've been playing jungle more in ranked, right? Than you've been playing mid. What made you
Yeah.
want to play jungle more? Just you being sick of mid being useless in ranked, or what?
There's 2 reasons. It's literally just like I don't like mid and ranked. I think it like is so bad practice, and I think you get more practice like off rolling. I feel like you learn more about the game doing that. And also just like if I ever wanted to play comp again, I feel like it'd be way, way easier to play in jungle because everybody wants to play mid. Like it literally even like Sot saying he wants to roll slot mid at some point. It's like everybody wants to do it, so like I don't know. The role's like too stacked.
I'm surprised so many people want to play mid. I feel like it's like you said, it's probably one of the most unfun ranked roles you could play. I feel like a lot of people that don't play mid say it's fun, but I feel like if they played mid every game, they probably would stop enjoying it because
If they
Yeah.
learned it.
I think
because
people make the mistake. It's like the characters I think are really fun, but I don't think the role is fun, if that makes sense.
yeah, because you're basically just farming the entire game. Like if you're not
Yeah.
constantly farming, you're kind of playing it wrong. And then like your game can just get ruined by like a support like not doing anything and just like taking your farm as well. Which I will say, if you're a support, you should take as much as the mid laner's farm as possible. But at the same time, if you don't do anything with it, then that's when the problem's the actual problem. The problem is not you
Yeah.
taking the farm; it's you taking the farm and then sitting back behind the mid laner and saying, "Hey guys, how's it going?" and not doing anything. But yeah, because you have the jungler and the mid laner just taking your farm, and then if you're just getting everything taken from you as well, like jungle camps, and the other mid laner's getting a bunch of farm funneled into him, it probably feels really bad to play. Like if you get down a couple levels and you can't even walk up to contest the wave. Um,
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, I thought I was letting MOSWAL jump in.
I don't
Well,
really have much to say about mid.
well, I was kind of curious about your opinion of. I feel like every mid laner has an opinion of supports who come and split everything and
he hates
then do
it.
nothing. Yeah, you
I
surely you
don't.
hate it.
I don't hate. I only hate it if like Aurora said, it's like they're not doing anything with it. But also, I just think it's bad because like all the farms like at duo and proc camp is so OP. So I feel like coming mid is like literally useless.
Is all the farm at duo? It's only
I
one.
think all the good farm is, in my opinion.
Well, it's only PROC camp versus like 2 mid harpies, right?
Well, you'd also have pressure to invade like green and stuff, and that's where mids get most of the farm. I think is like at green buff, and you can
Hmm.
invade that if you have duo pressure, and also like it's just proc camp buff will just give you pressure, so your ADC just wins.
Yeah, I kind of think it's interesting. PROC camp buff. I feel like PROC camp buff has been so OP all year, but well, like, it's not like so OP. It's just like
I'm very surprised it hasn't been
nice
nerfed
OP.
yet.
It got nerfed once, I think,
What
maybe once
was
or twice.
it? Was Scepter, right? That was last year. It
Scepter
feels
was
Yeah.
awesome.
It feels so long ago, like that meta, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
doesn't
Even though
it?
it's not even
Yeah.
that far away. Like it hasn't
It's
even
like
been a full year, like that it's been
it's
gone.
it's been like 7 months. We played on it 7 months ago.
Yeah, we played on it in January at Worlds. It's actually crazy to think about
Yeah.
because it seems like a complete like the map is so different this year than it's been in a while. I mean, I guess they do that every 2 years, but like
Yeah.
it's different, but it's not. But it really is different this year because there's like there's no obelisk and scorpions as well. So like the way the game flows has been really interesting. I
Yeah,
think
I actually really like Obelisk. I don't like Cups though.
you let.
I loved Obelisk.
What do you mean you don't like obelisk, but you don't like you like the first iteration obelisk with like the
I like the juice.
offerings?
Like, I like the juicing and stuff. Like I feel like that's a really interesting map play. But like the cup, whenever cups got introduced, it was just all you set on like this cup and you get them all, and then you get a trebuchet, and then it like runs down mid, and then the game is like fucked.
So you
And
like
then
the camp version of it, you're saying, right?
yeah,
Where yeah, I loved that version personally. I thought it was so cool too because there was like you'd get like double spawns, right? It was like the first rotation was like solo side back harpies and duo side mid harpies. And it was so OP, like if you were the support and you had pressure in your lane, if you could just like shove them under tower and then rotate mid, clear mids, and then get the double spawn, you would actually just get so fed. And it felt so good.
Yeah, I
yeah.
actually like the camp one better too. I agree. The cups, like it felt weird because it felt like if it was always really like a good example of it was when we played SCC in the like what the qualification tournament to Worlds.
Hmm.
Like I remember we played. There were the Ravens back then with like Coast and Kana and
Yeah. And
that
Kenneth and
team
stuff.
in
Yeah.
Kennett. Yeah. I remember game one. I got every cups that spawned on the first respawn, and they must have talked about it like in between games because game two their support was actually at the cups on time, so we split half and half, which would happen like every SPL game. Like at the end of
Yeah.
the year, like every support was really good at being on cup timers at the end of the year. But it just goes to show like how that system is like you kind of were forced to be on cups no matter what, whereas like the camp thing, like it was more of like a team effort more than just like a support thing kind of for like
Yeah.
the cups and at least in duo lane like how it worked is I guess it was a team effort both ways, but I liked how it played. Like there was okay, this is what I'm thinking about this now too, because like even at the end of the year I'll phrase it too, because it's like a team effort then. Like, I remember the Bolts were really good at it. Like, they would play to defend their obelisk as like a 3-man unit with their jungler or
Yeah.
their mid laner. They would always have 3 people like around their red and ready to go on you in obelisk if you walked in. Because I remember when the offerings first came out, I stole so many of them the first phase, like it was in the game. I think I had the most steals, but it was just because no one defended it. And then I remember the next split, I died like probably like 20 times trying to go for steals on it, or more than that, maybe in SPL games. Um, but back to the point I'm getting at, I liked it when it was like the camps because you have the opportunity. You could still steal it when the camps were a thing, right? You could still juice it, or no, or is that only during
Yeah, you
cups?
Yeah,
could.
you
You
could.
could.
Yeah. So okay, yeah. So the thing I liked about it then is that if you one team goes and plays like the thing you said where they play mid camp, back camp, and they get both the offerings, the other support could walk to there and try to steal it, and it give more like
Yeah.
plays on the map. So like you kind of have to you like I love stuff like that where you kind of have to like mind game people. Like you win those trades by um like calling their bluff, kind of like if they send
Yeah.
everybody over to invade the offerings on that side, you could just have them all drop out. I remember someone did it. Was it Genetics or Jake or you? I don't remember who did it first. I wasn't the one who did it. Where they went on the obelisk and they just let the offerings stay out and didn't pick them
Yeah,
up
yeah.
until their team ran them off the obelisk or whatever. So you could send
Mhm.
that. You could do that. You can have all the offerings drop while the other support's also trying to do that. But their entire team's on the other side getting all the camps while your
Dude,
team's defending yours. I don't know. There's so much. I loved how there was like mind games with it. I love that kind of stuff in Smite. It's always sick. It was
I
kind of like the invade meta a little bit too.
yeah, I kind of think it's a hot take, but I'd said it last year as well. Like, I was really, really sad. I kind of think Scepter, like the first version of Scepter, was so broken. Excuse me, like it was insanely OP. And I kind of think that first version of Scepter was so OP that it made the entire community hate the obelisk as a whole, and they just like never cared for it. But I actually think it's the best objective they ever added to the game, like period. Like I actually think it was just perfect for Smite. Like they kind of want historically Smite to be like not necessarily like they've like toned back on like the early kills and stuff, but they do want it to be like a pretty like fast paced like MOBA, you know? Like they want their like we're not like League where we're like freezing lanes and like playing like creep score and stuff, you know? Like I actually thought it was just so perfect that there was an objective like that where the entire map got involved. And I feel like like if it had more time, I feel like it was pretty intuitive, right? Because it would highlight on your map like, hey, this is where this is spawning, and you would just get used to it. And I feel like it would be pretty easy. But
The cup thing
yeah,
was more too complicated. What do you think of it, Moswell? Did you think it was like too complicated for like players that don't play the game a lot to understand, or what?
Yeah, the cups were really confusing. I think it was also just like too dependent on certain rules. Like I think like jungle and support just like
yeah,
controlled it way too much. Like I remember like one time I was playing SCC and it's like I'm gonna go get the mid cup and then there's like 3 people that jump out of
yeah.
the
No,
fog and kill you and it's like
that's not gonna
you
happen.
can't do anything about it. You're gonna just wait. I like Beacon a lot too. I like Beacon and I
I
like
like the beacon
Obelisk.
too, dude.
Beacon is sick, actually. Yeah.
You you know what I disliked most about the Cups? I just didn't like that they got one tap. Like, I kind of wished it was like a creep or something that you actually contested. I always thought it was weird. Like, you just had
Yeah.
to do weird games where you just like had to like jump into it, dude. The amount of deaths I've had in scrims because I jumped onto their cup and then like 4 people were there and killed me at level 5. Like, honestly, probably 100 deaths easily.
Dude,
And
That's why I
I
thought they
wouldn't.
were really good as back camps and stuff.
yeah. That's what I loved. But I want to say Cabrakan Tremor was so sick at securing the cups. That's why I played him so much at the end of the year. Because you just walk into the fog, you'd be like racing the other support. Because you're both like melee auto trying to out melee auto attack it. I'd walk into the fog and just go doo doo, and then walk out, and I'd be like, "That's mine, bye." But go ahead, Maswell. Sorry, I
No, I think I said what I had to say about it.
nice.
We kind of skipped over at MOSWAL because we we were just talking about, whatever at the start, arena and stuff. What actually got you, like, just like basic stuff, like what got you into Smite? Like, how long have you been playing? Because you've been around a while, but I actually don't think I know like how long you've actually been playing Smite in general.
I think it was Chronos release whenever I started. Like I was playing it like I've pretty much only played WoW and Smite ever since I started playing it, but like whatever I was playing a lot of WoW and then people were just like, "Hey, you should try this game." And then I did, and then I didn't talk to them for a very long time. And then I played it casual and randomly got asked to play SCC, which it was crazy back then. People were
Do you
just
remember what year
asking
that
whoever to
was? Was
play.
that like season 1?
It was like beta, and then I played like
Oh.
SCC, and then we qualified the SPL, didn't win a single game. It was so bad back then.
Yeah, because was your first Pro League team season 3? Am I wrong on that?
No, it's Randozo's season. Like I forget when that was.
Wait,
Wait,
you
you
were
I
played
don't
season
remember.
1?
you were on Randozo's for a little bit.
Yeah, I was on Randozo's into Noble. I don't remember
Wait.
what season that
Randozos or
was.
Rambozos? Randozos was season 3.
No,
I,
wait, Rambozo's was season 3.
No, Rambozos was season 1. Randozos with the team with like me and Meerkat and Aduro at the start, and then uh I forget who they had later on. I had left the team after like a couple weeks, but yeah.
yeah, I don't remember, but it was like Walrus Robin and them.
Yeah,
Like
okay, that was season 3. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I remember. So wait, you played. I remember the first LAN I met you at was Super Regionals, right? Or at least where I saw you. Was that the first time
Yeah.
we saw each other and talked a little bit?
Yeah, I was so nervous because like seeing all the people like bearing on them, it was crazy.
Dude, I was so nervous my first LAN as well. It was awful.
I remember.
It changed though whenever I was watching like LG and like that was like the first time I like heard like people because they were like yelling at like
Oh
each
yeah.
other. It was so fun. It was crazy.
I remember you were in your you were just sitting on one of those beanbag chairs, I think, next to Taco. When I first
Yeah.
started talking, I was like, oh, is this MOSWAL?" And you're like, "Yes, hello."
Yeah, was that the land where you're like, where are your beads, Zeno?
Yeah,
I
I think that
remember.
was that land. And your team didn't your team GG you? Didn't they like you were owning and then they just randomly said Aduro's
Oh yeah,
playing at the LAN?
I got trolled so hard that land.
You tell everybody
Wait,
that
what?
story.
Yeah, like it was literally just like it was like I don't remember
Give
exactly. It was like a week
it was
before like
going
the
into the
land.
LAN. Give them context
Yeah,
though. So it's like you played all of SPL that entire phase, right? And this
yeah,
was back with the group stage lands where we went down on group stage, and the group stage lands were part of like the regular season or whatever. I think still they weren't like playoffs because
Mhm.
the group stage land is what qualified the teams into super regionals. I think, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
And
that's right.
you guys were in our group, and I remember you were at the LAN, but you weren't playing. And I remember I was talking to you about it. And I thought it was so weird, but yeah, I just want to give context. Go ahead and tell the rest of the story.
yeah. Basically, like a week before, they were like, "You don't talk enough in scrims," and then we're gonna use a duo. And like that was the first time I ever played comp, so I didn't know how any of it worked. And then they just used a duo at that land, and he got it was weird because he got half of like the salary for it too, like, and I got half even though I played the entire split. It was
Oh,
like
that
really
sucks.
weird.
Yeah, that really sucks.
Yeah, you got super GG kind of for no reason. I felt like, and you were
It's like
owning
I'm
too.
pretty sure I'm pretty sure we went into that land knowing we weren't gonna like win or doing anything in my opinion because we would just lose all the time. We never lost one SPL either. It was super weird.
Did you play because I remember on season 4 you ended up playing with Noble again, right?
Yeah.
For like a little
Did
bit
you,
though, right?
yeah, were you on that team from the start? What happened with you at the start of
No,
season 4?
was it MLC was playing on it, right?
Oh, that's right, it was stuff.
Yeah, and then you guys picked him up, and then they wanted me back.
No, I think that was his last team because we had made worlds as ALG and we had stuff. I think that was season 3, and then we kicked stuff and picked up Met, and then Noble picked up stuff, and then they kicked stuff and
Yeah.
picked up you. So stuff just was getting kicked.
Yeah, they got me and Skeely, I think.
You guys were pretty good. You like made a run that gauntlet, right? If I'm not mistaken.
That was after I like, cause I quit after the Randosos thing in Noble, and then like I came back and I watched like I was just sitting like I wanted to play again, but I wanted to see like how like people actually like that were good were playing, and I remember Oxygen Supremacy was like I would like watch like how Vin played and stuff, and I'm like, oh okay, so that's what you're supposed to do.
Dude, their run was so fun. The Oxygen team.
Yeah, it made me single handedly want to play Chiron.
Dude, Ven was so good at Chiron back then. He's horrible at him now. I'm just kidding. He just doesn't play them as much.
Dude, you're about to get Chiron Dash this next phase.
Dude, Chiron's OP, man. He has a Geb Shield and a Sobek Pluck, and nobody plays him.
That is actually broken if you think about it.
Yeah. I've scrimmed with Chiron support, never lost with him either, but people won't let me play it. That's actually like the one god that I wish I could play in the SPL, but it just my teammates will never let it happen. None of them.
What about the on-her support? That's been going around recently.
Yeah, people do love that.
He's got a belly flop, some pen, dude, and he's got a stupid rocket launcher that slams people into the wall, or can just shoot Gatling gun shots. Kind of crazy.
I'm just gonna maintain that I think Neith is broken. Any role Neith is actually broken.
I actually agree with that.
Dude, this sounds so stupid, but like you guys both played with Scream, right? A little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You guys know how Scream will do this thing where like he's convinced a god is good, and when you ask him to like tell you like how he wants to play it or why he thinks it's good, he just starts reading off the kit to you. Like,
yeah, he's done that.
Baskin did that with us when I played with him like season 5. He did it with Neith, and he's like, "Yeah, guys, I swear Neith mid's OP." And I don't know if it was me or Benji, but one of us was like, "Are you sure? Like, isn't she kind of easy to go on? I feel like she's easy to dive." And he was like, yeah, but that's like if you're playing it wrong. Like everybody just plays it for the global, but like what's actually OP about her is her 1 through 3. And we're like, "What are you talking about?" And he just read the kit, and I actually learned like 3 things about Neith that I never knew. Like her like attack, her like slow on her backflip is like 6 seconds or whatever it used to be back then, and like her attack speed still is like 5 seconds. Like she just randomly has like the longest debuffs in the game on her kit for like no reason. They're actually kind of OP.
And roots were like way more OP back then before they switched how CC works.
Yeah, they weren't DR'd, right?
Yeah, I hate that change so much, man.
What do you say about that change?
I hate that change. That honestly is one of my least favorite changes of Smite.
Really? Why?
It just like ruins certain characters. Like certain characters still like feel terrible now.
Like Artemis Trap,
Yu Huang, like stuff like that. It just feels so bad now.
Herc feels worse too with it, but it's like it's not as bad. But like the fun part for me playing Herc, at least as Herc support, is like try to get in as many cancels on your in hands as you can in between abilities. That's what I love doing. Like I remember my Herc warm up would be to see how many, like I would get 3 auto tech cancels off before every single, like I would pluck, auto push, auto pluck, auto push, auto, and I would try to get like 1,000,000 of these auto attack cancels off in between each combo, and that was like the most fun part about playing Herc.
Do you know what else I owned about Herc that I really missed is I really liked you know how you get that part where like people try to like dead zone your 2?
Yeah.
I always loved just pushing them away and then turn around. Like I would walk backwards 1 step and I would like flick 180 like to them towards me. And now he DRs it so much, it's like impossible to do that if anyone else has touched them. Or if they have like any CCR at all, like even 10%. Like if they're a Guardian, you just can't do it. Like they can just walk away from it. That was actually my favorite combo on the character, because I just feel like it was like the one thing nobody knew like how to play around.
Yeah, no, it was so much fun. But yeah, I the DR change, like that's the one thing I don't like. That character is probably the one that I noticed the most that I personally played a lot of in the past. I guess Fenrir kind of too. Nah, I mean Fenrir's always been like that. I remember trying to always pick up. Remember when I would always try to pick up CCR boots tanks MOSWAL, and I would just bite them, and then they'd all, and you'd be like, nice.
It was I'm pretty sure Cyno did it too, like with MOSWAL Sash, and it's like he would just like somebody buy CCR boots and then Sash wouldn't work, and now Sash doesn't get affected by like DR. Same with like a Wrathbone one randomly, I think, right?
Yeah.
Dude, you know what Sinus said that I actually respect a lot? I think this was like somewhat recently. Like people were talking about like, oh, if you like missing an ability versus like going for an opportunity. And he was saying something like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna lie." Like it might have been a rank game he was playing with Meerkat or something, but he was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Even if there's only a 10% chance that that play works, I'm still gonna do it because like they could make a mistake." And it kind of reminded me like I kind of love like I would just out people like Fenrir like that because you just never know. Like sometimes people like it's like the mind game thing with Naja Sash, you know, like you Naja Sash in and then people like panic bead sometimes. Like, dude, that's actually
You
when I
hate
play
that.
dude, the thing I felt bad about it instantly, but I actually tilted Hurry in the middle of our summer set against you guys. Dude, have you heard about this?
No, I haven't heard about this.
Dude, okay, it was season 8 summer. We had played you guys in spring. And I think we played you in quarters, and you guys were our hardest set that tournament. We ended up winning the tournament. And then we played you guys in quarters again. And this time you had layers. It was Scary D, the first split. And you had layers, and we played you guys game 1, and I think we won like pretty quickly. And then game 2, you guys like swapped sides, and then you played Fenrir. And I think Hurry was like Poseidon or something. And you literally just walked at him and Fenrir ulted. I don't even know if you jumped at him. You literally just walked at him and Fenrir ulted him, and he just panic beads instantly. And I was like, "Yeah, dude, you gotta wait for him to pick you up." And I was just annoyed because like it actually did kind of cost a fight, and like he knows, and it is just bad by me for sure. And he was like, "Yeah, thanks, dude. I know." And I was like, "Shit! Like, why did I say that? Like, why would I ever say that?" Like, and it was just such a pet peeve because I remember I would just talk about it all the time because I would play Fenrir as well, and it would just like I just never got it. Like people just love panic beads in that stuff so much. But I literally played a rank game today. I Ares ulted in Anubis just because I wanted. He was just fed, so I just wanted to burn his ult. And I was like, whatever, I'll just take the 1-for-1. And the guy, he like tried to get fancy, and he Anubis ulted for like 1 tick, and then insta canceled it, thinking he would CC me my ult, and just got pulled and died. It was so funny. I love it. I love when people just make mistakes because they're trying to be cool for no reason. It's actually my favorite.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
The Fenrir thing's weird though. Like I feel like it's also skin dependent. Like if you like panic beads or not. I swear, like the tiny one always looks like he's biting when he's moving or something.
Yeah. Well, you know what's also tough about it? There's like 2 different situations, right? Like there's times where like in my opinion it's pretty obvious they're just trying to burn your beads, right? Like maybe you like have vision or they're like kind of on their own, like, like spots like for example, like say a mid laner uses their whole like their kit early game to clear the wave. Like you probably know they're just trying to force your beads, like maybe they don't have as much kill potential on you. But I feel like you should just force them to bite, and like if they get your beads, they get your beads. But in a team fight, you can just you can just whip them around, like you can just put them in your mouth and like flick your camera, and even if they beads, it's almost like they got Sobek plucked and they're just dead anyways.
Yeah.
So it's definitely it's harder than it looks for sure.
So I wanted to ask you, MOSWAL, who are some of the people that you grew up around playing games? Like why did you like playing games, and like how did you get into it just outside of Smite, like before you started playing as well?
I've played with like the same group of friends since like middle school, like not middle school, like earlier than that, like second grade. Like I've known some of my friends, and we
Has
would just
Val been carrying you that long?
yeah, pretty much. We've been playing WoW since like second grade. Is great. Like
That's
that's pretty much
awesome.
it. Like I used to play shooters and stuff, but like I kind of grew out of it,
You play
and like
COD?
Yeah, I was
yeah,
gonna say, what's yours is COD?
yeah, COD. Like and then
Mhm.
like one Christmas, my parents bought me a PC, and I pretty much only played like Smite and WoW ever since, like unironically.
And
I
then
actually love that.
your dad also played games too growing up, right? And like
Yeah, he played a lot of
he's been playing games forever, right?
yeah, he played a lot of EverQuest, and then he got into classic WoW and raided with me.
I raided with him a little bit too. That was so much fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard that that dad wall went pretty crazy at WoW.
That's fun.
I feel like that's so cool to like I feel like it's like kind of like it can kind of be a bit embarrassing for sure, but it is also just like funny. Like to like raid with your dad, that is just fun, I think.
Yeah, he'd raid with me and he'd say stuff that I like would make me uncomfortable on purpose. It was so funny.
A lot of stories that we probably should share in here that are so funny. Oh man. Um, and then I wanted to ask you too. Like, I know you played with you used to queue with Pern a lot. When did you start playing with him? Because you also played WoW with him, like after, like during the classic era as well.
Yeah,
That
I'm
was
not
like around.
sure.
It was around like the end of season 3, I think, is what I
It
remember.
was it was random, but
Because
it's like me and Pern would like queue and I'd queue into him and it was like, okay, just want to queue. And like after you like had the podcast with Pern, I like watched all those like YouTube highlights back and I saw myself in there and I'm like, oh my god, I hate my old voice.
you hate your old what?
My old voice.
I feel like everybody hates their voice. I hate my voice. I
Yeah.
can't stand it.
I'm always surprised on how I sound as well when I listen to myself back from
Hmm.
like 9 years ago. If I ever see myself talking, I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
I wanna if you ever had the Twitch clip of like the hit Raquan video, oh my
Oh
god.
my god. When was that? Was that season 3? There's clips if you
That was
scroll
the
far
that was
down
the
enough.
mumble days. That was the mumble days, dude.
Was that season 3 or season 4?
Well, I remember we talked before I like met you at LAN, so it might have been earlier. I don't
Was it
remember, but
season
it was
2? Yeah,
I don't
how did you start hanging out with all the people that were in that mumble? Like who did you talk to that was it Clumsy? Or who
I don't
was
think
it?
it was it might have been Cyclone or T Money. I can't remember. It might have been T Money.
T Money, yeah. But yeah, I feel like that was like it's funny like there's been so many rank squads that snipe each other. I feel like there's like a pretty big rank squad of like SCC players that all snipe each other right now, which is really cool to see. I feel like that group was that reminds me of like playing back in Mumble where we'd all be like 10 of us, we'd all queue ranked and snipe each other. That was so much fun.
It's so fun to do that.
Especially when you're trying to kill each other in comms, it's so good.
Yeah. But yeah, no,
I'm not,
go ahead, Mike, sorry.
oh no, I was just gonna say, have you guys ever had people in your friend group go like undercover while queuing ranked?
I've done that
Not
to people.
not my personal friends, but like they were gonna do it to me on WoW. They said because whenever I played Classic WoW, I didn't talk to them forever because I was addicted to it. And like they said one day they were gonna make like 5 rogues level it up and like try to get world buffs from me or something.
That's awesome. Yeah, I gotta ask permission before I tell it. I do want to tell it at some point on the podcast, but my favorite moments are like queuing ranked with like your group of friends and like all sniping each other. But then we've had a couple instances where somebody would like kind of go undercover and they would smurf and I mean I guess you're kind of just gaslighting people into not thinking it's you. But it's just too funny. Like I know for us, like whenever Mask hopped in the queue, it was like that was the death of the queue because like Mask has never played a game anything less than like 100,000,000% full tryhard. Like for example, like if I was dueling with like Meerkat or Snoopy or something, like he would just camp us and there was no remorse. Like he would just camp us and make us go like 0-10. The game would just be over. And that inspired some of the greatest undercover agent stories of all time.
And
I gotta ask them off. I can tell them, but
you,
it's so good.
you gotta do that. And then, you know what Mask would say like every other jungler?
I'm just
Might as
playing
well,
the game.
no, can you share what Mask would say as a jungler? You're part of the junglers in rank now. You know
uh,
this.
Jungle is so bad, guys. You can't waste jungle.
Dude, how does every jungler say that after they make the dueling go 0-12, and then they say, yeah, my role's just, it's not very good in rank.
I'm pretty sure jungle is just broken, but people
Of
troll when they
course.
play it. But like, cause like I'll be like 10-0, and I just won't like try to kill people anymore. and then just like you just win the game. But like I feel like the junglers get like super fed and then they die one time and then the game actually is over.
Well, it's just I don't know, like jungle can never not be OP in a MOBA. I feel like same with support, kind of. Um, but the dumb thing about jungle is I feel like they just want to do everything. Like, I feel like jungle players just expect yeah, I should be able to kill them early game. They're out of position. Like they should have to play back. And then from the laner's perspective, you're just thinking like, okay, well, me playing back means I literally can't play my lane because if I have to assume you're here, like you're just gonna lose pressure, whatever. I don't know. And then they want to carry every single team fight. They want on the farm. You can't. You can't with junglers. They just
You
want it
can't
all.
win.
You
You just
can't.
gotta say jungle's bad and move on. You just gotta agree with them.
That's why I unironically enjoyed playing with Scream because he would just have his really he would just have his really strong opinions. You just yes man it. You're like, yeah, sure, man. Like jungle's jungle's horrible. You can never kill anyone. Like ganking's worthless. You know, just let him do his thing. He'll figure it out.
I also feel like junglers try to play like it's comp. Like they'll try to do things that they know is like bad in ranked. Because in ranked you can just do whatever you want, in my opinion.
Well, that's kind
against
of
more
fair.
people.
I actually think your point that you said at the start of this, like, I actually very firmly believe in that getting a different perspective is actually really important, or it's like, if not really important, I do think it's like, it will be more eye opening, I think, like, than just spamming your role over and over. I think you definitely have to practice your role for sure as like a professional player, but like, for example, when I play Duel, it's really easy to play Duel and just like pick the OP characters and like pick the highest pressure character available and just like steamroll over people who don't know the mode. But I kind of like hard moding it a little bit. Like I'll just pick Merlin and try to literally not fight them and just like play the map and just like figure out when they can kill me and like learn my limits a little bit. And I feel like I actually learn a lot from that. Even the games where I lose, I feel like you learn your power spikes on those characters a lot more. And I do actually think it translates a little bit. Like it's kind of like playing a new character, you know? Like I kind of hate when people like a new god comes out and then it's like in SPL and people are like, "Yeah, I have no idea what that does." Like surely like surely that shouldn't happen.
But it still happens. So like
Oh, for
Ishil's like a
sure.
pretty good example. Like nobody knows how that character's ult works, and I'm
Dude,
pretty sure that
playing
character's OP.
Dude, playing Isho in ranked is actually it makes me want to pull my hair out. I can't stand it. Nobody has ever in their life stood in front of my beam so that I can just laser everybody.
Yeah, I feel like if you're queuing with someone, that character is so much fun. But if
Oh
you are
yeah.
relying on random people to just stand in front of your beam, you are not having a good time at all.
Dude, well that's the annoying thing too, is like even the random people at like our level, like you still recognize people's names. They're not just like horrible trash players,
Yeah,
but they're just playing for themselves. Like they're not
exactly.
thinking about anything else, you know? Because they're just used to it because it's ranked. But yeah.
What was your favorite season, MOSWAL, as mid and jungle, now that you've been playing jungle more recently?
Last season I like jungle a lot because scorpions and stuff. I just like playing the map. But the most fun is mid. Like for mid is definitely season 5 because that's the most broken mid we'll ever get. I don't think it'll ever come close
Wait,
to
do you
that.
consider yourself a jungle main? Are you a confirmed jungle main now?
Not really. I just play everything. Like I don't.
Mm.
The only roles I don't
He's
really
a
like playing
support
are just
main.
against solo. Yeah, I like support too. Support
He's
is
a
so fun.
Sylvanas main.
You just don't play the side laners, right? That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I just don't like
Mm.
the 1v1 aspect because also it doesn't really work like that in comp either. It's just like you're not really
Yeah.
1v1 in an ADC that much. It's more of like a duo lane and solo lane. I don't think you could die in that lane,
Yeah, that's
even
how
if
I
you
am too.
wanted to.
I like the mid trio roles as well. I don't really like the side lanes that much.
I also just played it whenever I play mid. I don't even play like I don't like playing the meta stuff. I just like playing stuff that will just like make the
You're
jungler
different
not
than
want
the
to
other
play.
people.
Yeah, I just play Nuwa to the jungler every game and make him not want to play. It's so fun.
Well, how do you make them not want to play as Nuwa? Don't you just like waddle around?
Well, they don't have Aegis, so they lose every 1v1 late game, and like you
Mm.
just minion stun people and they get one shot.
Dude, minion stun's actually broken.
Yeah.
My favorite thing whenever Nuwa gets played is watching tank players just try to diver and just get one tapped. It has, isn't it like 80 prot shred or something? It used
I
to be
think it's
really
60
high.
now. I think
Yeah.
it's 60.
Yeah, 60
It's
sounds
it's
right.
just like you hold root forever, and if anybody tries to go on, you just root them into the minion stun, and they literally get one shot.
The last rank game we played, you were playing Nuwa, and I remember we were having a really unfun game, right? Was that the game where I started out 0-10 or something, or I was
Yeah,
0-9, and we were
it
against
reminded
we were against we were against Miggy, right? And he's playing
Yeah.
Thanatos, and I was like 0-9, 0-10. I was playing Kabrakan, and MOSWAL was playing Nuwa. And I remember, I remember I typed in chat to my team. I was like 0-7 at this time. We were just getting, he's playing Thanatos. He had like 27 kills or something in the game. But early game, it was like 11 minutes in. My Apollo tried to surrender. We had an Apollo, right? I think it was an
Mhm.
Apollo. And
It's
he's,
either that or
it
Rama.
was, yeah, it was Apollo or Rama. And I'm like, if this game goes 30 minutes plus, we will win. That's what I typed in chat. And the guy's like, well, I want out right now. I don't think that is going to happen. And he was just raging like the entire game. And he kept saying, I'm going to AFK and all this stuff. And he was like getting really mad. But we ended up like holding on until like 30 minutes. They got like maybe like one or two Phoenixes like over the course of the game. And I think it was like right as they got EFG, they were like sieging and right. And you were playing Nuwa. And I remember we got a really good fight. I don't know how the fight started, but the fight started out really well, and we're chasing them, and you're like, just med me, med me, med me, and you double clay stun them like twice in a row, and you killed their entire team. You remember that game?
Yeah,
And then we won, and we beat a jungler, dude, at his own game.
that's a 70 MMR game right there.
Yeah, then we got like 70 or 80 MMR from that. It's like, and then the Rama in chat was like, "Wow, we actually won. It's 30 minutes plus." It was so funny. That game was awesome.
That
But
happened to me and Cyno did too. We were like queuing, and there's a ADC that was like literally just dying off cooldown and ending, and then he just randomly ran solo lane, and he got 2 kills. And we're like, yeah, this is so good. We're so back. His mental's good now, because he was complaining about Cyno that he wasn't like camping his lane. I just think it's so weird, like how like random like rank players have like egos and stuff for some reason.
okay, this just came to me. I feel like junglers feel like their role is bad because they absorb all the negative energy from around the map if they don't gank the lane. So say like your solo lane's going 0-10 and they're saying, why are you not helping me? The jungler's instantly thinking that's his fault and that's why the role sucks, even if they have 27 kills right now.
Yeah.
Basically.
I think for a lot of people that's definitely true. I also do just think like I can't absolve like Cyno and Scream and like Oath, whoever else now, like they are just propaganda artists. Like there's no way they think that. Like Scream is not thinking, oh yeah, my soul laner died to a gank. That's my fault. That's not happening. Like he just
But ADCs make no sense. They want their lane to get camped, but like
they
like
don't want you to split.
every time I play support, like they just yell at you if you sit and duo, and I swear it's so OP. Like I don't know.
You know what's funny is I feel like everybody hates when the roaming roles split with their other lanes. But then all the lanes will complain if the other like jungler or support is ahead, you know?
Yeah.
Like if the other support's like 3 levels up and it's just a raid boss, everybody's like, "Oh my god, I can't kill this guy. This game's over. It's impossible."
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people don't build good either, and that's why it feels like that sometimes as well. I feel like sometimes like really popular builds go around that are really good at killing backliners, but then a good tank player enters the room and they're like, "Yeah, guys, my role's not good." And then you look at their build and they have like 5 crit items, 0 pen, this tank has spectral armor, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is not great for me right now." But sometimes the carries can't build anything to kill the tanks. I will be honest, but I don't think
Well, they
that
talk about mid.
there hasn't been a problem like that this year. I feel like where if the backliners put together, the tanks will die this year. I don't think it's ever
For
been bad
sure.
this year.
Yeah,
When's the last time it wasn't like that? I feel like
Last
it's been
year, I think.
you think so?
Season okay. The last time it was for sure like that was season 7. Like the entire season, it was like that. where tanks were supports were
Little
going
Thorns meta.
Thorns.
Yeah.
You could walk around as a support and say, "How's it going, guys?" I remember at
Dude.
Worlds, the set we lost to Paul's team. I was playing Kabrakan. I think I had Thorns. There was a fight at Gold Fury. I remember I walked into gold. I remember I wanted to watch the fight back really bad. Like maybe it was sometime last year or 2 years ago, but I was off screen, but you can see Zap and Paul. Like another fight was happening. It was me versus Zap and Paul, and then there was like it was like a 3v4 with like the rest of my team against the other 3 people zoning. But I walked in myself. I'm a lone Kabrakan walking in, I think it was Hachiman and Scylla. I think it was a game. It was game 4. It was a 3 Phoenix down game. It was that game where we lost. But I remember I walked into gold and I almost one-shot both of them, and I was at half health by myself because I walked in with Thorns and they both hit me, and I got a Kabrakan ult hitting both of them, and I think my 2 hit both of them, and I tremored them, and they were both like 1 HP, and I was just a lone support. They were both full HP, and I did that. And I was like, that's a good game right there.
wasn't that triple Thorns meta with a jungle support and
Yeah, it was that meta.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
dude.
You're the one who started the Thorns, I think, on support that year. You were buying it like every game. I remember you would just buy it on Herc, and like everybody like, yeah, that's not.
You know
cool,
who?
guys.
You know who inspired me to start it?
Who inspired you to start it?
Aninster did.
Nice.
It was between splits. I think we had played you guys the first tournament, and I don't know if we had a long break or not. We only played 2 splits that year because we played like the triple round robin or whatever. I think it was pretty similar to this year. And we had like a short break. And I remember I played a rank game and I played Kuzumbo, and I would always go Thorns on Kuzumbo. And he was like, "Why don't you just go Thorns on every god?" And I was like, "Are you being serious?" He was like, "Yeah, it's OP. I swear it's OP. Just do it." I was like, "Okay, I'll do it for fun. Like, I'll just indulge him." I did it in scrims. And we were playing a lot of all around mid with Twig. And I remember we were against they were Sanguine back then, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And Shinto played all around mid, and he like first picked it. And I was like, this is gonna be fun. And I slam locked Ymir, and I just ran down their duo, and then I literally went blink Thorns Ymir, and I would blink wall and like Thorns and alt on top of him, and just put him in a corner, and I would just solo him every fight. There was just nothing he could do. Like he was just stuck, and I just was a ticking time bomb. It was the most fun thing ever.
You were a spiky time bomb.
Yeah, I from there on out, I literally won it every single game until it got nerfed, and he was right.
Well, that's like the thing. People like right now are complaining, "Oh, tanks are so OP, they're so OP." Like I think they're like a little overtanked. Like I don't think we're in a tank meta. I think we're in a tanky meta.
I think solo laners are. Do you think supports are too? I think supports have good items.
Well, they're just not. They're not killable. They're not like they don't really kill you, but they're not really killable in my opinion. Like
sure. You're just saying early game, right?
Yeah, early game. Like late game they die.
Sure.
Like late game you die as a tank.
Yeah.
But, like,
sure. Yeah.
They do not realize how broken tanks used to be, man.
Yeah, it's not even close.
They were so bad.
Close. Dude, well, the thing that I think is kind of stupid, like, I'm sure I'd have a different perspective if I played like a scrim or if I was like an actual carry player, you know, because like even if I play off role, I still kind of think like a support, you know. And I feel like when I play support, or when I play off role, even against other SPL supports, I just ignore them because like you just know your own limits better when you play support. And I feel like the stuff I see is like people will just get annoyed if the support walks up to you and like auto attacks you or hits you for 80 for like a cloak stack or something, you know? And I feel like people like genuinely get annoyed. And when I play against them, I'm just like whatever. Like I just ignore the guy.
I'm actually the same way. I just ignore people whenever they hit me. I feel like that's more tilting if you're just ignoring them.
For sure. Yeah, it's like Ganesha's try to walk up to me and one me. It's like okay, like go crazy.
No, I swear, it's like the support and rank thing. Like I swear, people just pick Fafnir just to hammer you for fun.
Oh,
like, they know they don't get anything off it. They just want to do it.
Dude, if I play Fafnir, I am literally just dwarf waddling around their jungle, just trying to be annoying, and that's it. You're just hammering people for fun.
Mike's lifetime cloak stack counter as Fafnir is higher than anybody else's because he's been stacking cloak on Fafnir since he's been out.
I really do love it. You gotta. Dude, you know another character I used to love doing that on? Was Xing Chen. I didn't play him as much, but like Xing Chen was so fun to just waddle around the jungle. You're just like he was just so annoying. It was just so fun to just like
Was
you
it?
would just walk around and one people and walk away.
Was that when they gave us 3 iframes at one patch?
Yeah. It was season 6
Oh
they did
my
that.
god,
Dude, oh my god. Okay, I can definitely tell this story. Okay, season 6, they gave him iframes, and this was like it was either like spring or summer split or something that year. I think it was spring. I think we only played 2 splits that year as well. And we scrimmed against PK, and this was like the EU like dream team PK, you know, it was like Deathwalker adapting zeros. And I played Xing Chen. Yeah. And I played Xing Chen against them. And of course I invaded Kennet and I got his speed. Like that's a given. So I got his speed, and then I went over to Deathwalker, who was still on blue, and then I stole his blue. And then Zeros tried to push the first wave with a Emilzy, and I looped behind them and I Xing Chen'd, and they like I think Emilzy was playing Horus, and they were level 2 and I was level 1, and they tried to Horus 2 me and I jumped it. They tried to Horus 1 me and I jumped it a second time. And then Twig and Max looped behind them and killed him. They insta reset the game. And then the very next game I did a different start. And then I looped from duo side instead. I didn't go solo side. I looped duo side and killed Zero's wave 1. This is the first scrim of the block, by the way. He instant log off, rage quit, scrims are over for the day.
Oh my,
Just instantly. It's all because of Xing Chen immunity frames. You just never know.
The support back then was so funny.
It was the best.
Support was it was fun.
It wasn't even a support. You were just griefing.
Okay, it was fun
you were a
because other
griefer.
people hated it. That's why I liked it. Yeah, other people hated it.
It got ruined though, because I love doing it as well. Like I love it. Like if it was still an option to do it, some games I would not be against it. The problem with me what made me really dislike it is that it was just every game occurrence. Like it was never there was no variance. It's like
that's your fault.
Okay, I know, but I'm just saying you're either doing it or you're not doing it. And if you're not doing it, you're not playing good. And if you're not playing good, you're not winning. And if you're not winning, you're not having fun. So you have to do it to win, to have fun, and have all this stuff. But if you do that, then like you're like, I don't want to do this every game because everybody else is doing it, and it just feels so bad because whoever does it better is just gonna win in the first 5 minutes of the game, and
well, you also ruined it. You're doing it at the beginning. Because everyone thought Jeff started it. No, you definitely started it.
I can't believe that. I can't believe people ever actually thought that.
Deathwalker started it. That's who started it, by the way.
Oh,
it was Worlds against you guys.
Yeah, no, he started it was against Kennet. He did.
Oh, that's right.
He was the one who started it. They had this strategy because I think I talked to Deathwalker a little bit about it.
They had Homie Face sub, right, for Yemen. It was that set.
Yeah, but I remember. I think they had practiced doing that a bunch, like going into the event, and I remember he was the one who started it. I think, like. I want to say Neil did it a ton as well, and I did it a bunch as well at the start. But I remember I've invaded, like there's a clip. One of the new map come out, was it season 5 or season 4? It was season 5, right? The new map, the invade map. Yeah. So season 5, there's a clip where I played Thanatos. I do it as Fenrir and Thanatos. I remember I did it right when the map came out. I would walk from duo, and I would walk between mid Phoenix and mid tier 2 and sit there as Thanatos before the game started. And I'd walk up, hit speed buff, steal it with an auto attack, then death scythe, and chase them down with speed buff and scythe them again. And they would die, and I'd be like, GG. And then I can literally find a clip of that, like from whenever that patch was out, of me doing it. And I remember I'd do that as Fenrir as well. I would go Hunter's Blessing as Fenrir, and I would just walk into their speed. I would let them know I was coming. I would sit there and I would just fight people with Hunter's Blessing Fenrir with my jump. That was so much fun. But yeah,
I missed that old Fenrir jump, the reset. Like, it was so broken.
But Deathwalker is the reason why the invade meta became popular, I feel like. And I feel like people don't realize that because he did it against Kenneth and completely owned him at speed buff
Well,
so hard.
there were a couple different versions though, because do you remember? I was talking with Winnie about this the other day.
Yeah.
Do you remember our scrims before season 5 Worlds? Actually, you should remember this for sure, MOSWAL. We were playing like the 3v3 in duo, and we would we like towards the end we would take turns of like one side would be the 3v2 and then whatever, because we figured teams wouldn't just instantly copy it, right? And then there was a game where we 3v3'd and Scream kept playing like Alquang and stuff, and I remember he would do really well against you guys in scrims on Alquang. But then Cyno was just playing freaking Erlang and Pele every game, and at one point I think Sinnoh just got annoyed, and then Cyno and MOSWAL invaded us on speed. And the two of them invaded Wooney and Scream on speed. So we had a 3v3 at level 1 in duo, and then we had a 2v2 at speed buff at level 1 in scrims. And that happened for like 3 days or something. I don't remember why it stopped or what, but I remember thinking that you guys for sure started it. I do remember the Deathwalker thing, but I thought it just kind of stemmed from that.
I remember at the start of the season, like I think we were scrimming like Barrett's team with like Jeff and them, and like Aurora literally messaged him. He said, "Yo, this might be really trolling, but don't surrender." And then he just invades and starts speed buff and literally sits and gets every single totem because that's when totem was added. And
Yeah,
they were so far down, and then they're like, "Oh, this probably sucks." And then he does it again, and they're like, "Oh, okay, we're just gonna copy this now." So I think
yeah, I
that's
was
where
gonna say
like people got it from Jeff.
yeah, that's definitely where like SK like thought like Jeff started it. But I always thought it was so funny for people to think Jeff started it, because Jeff wouldn't do it in the SPL because he hated it. Like he didn't like
Yeah.
the start. And like the guy who hates it probably didn't start it.
I credited all the Deathwalker though for making it because I've been invading since like there's clips like every game in season 0 when I played Smite I invaded. Like I've always been the invader like playing Smite because I think that's like we were talking about Siege. I invaded every Siege game possible.
Oh yeah,
I don't know
it
if
was
you've
so
ever
fun. Every game.
did you play Siege with me, Moswell, ever when we used to invade and run around and see how many kills?
Yeah.
We would try to. I remember we would try to. The game I would play in Siege, it wasn't even Siege. You would queue up, we would invade, and the goal would be to sit in their jungle and hope that they don't ignore us and just walk to lane and they keep trying to come get their buffs. Because people would do that, and the game would be if you could keep that up all the way until they surrender without having to back. And that was the game I tried to play. And it was so hard to do because they would just keep coming back with more and more items. And you would just eventually lose like too many people and you couldn't keep the invade going. But that was like my favorite sub game to play in Smite was how long can you stay in the enemy jungle in Siege without having to leave?
Did you ever play that with Cyclone?
Yeah, I played that with him a lot.
Okay, that makes sense because I remember when I first teamed with Cyclone, I had always invaded in Siege as well. But I just used to invade normally. Like I would just walk up and invade and take their buffs and then go to the lane, whatever. And I remember when I was scrimming with Cyclone after scrims, we would just like queue Siege for fun. And he would do that, and he made me do it, and we would just stay there forever until we died. It was just we're there until they give up or we die. One or the other. It was so fun.
And that was always like the best win if you could just stay there until they surrendered. It was impossible. It was like you would have like one out of like every 40 games you'd be able to do it.
Dude, did you guys ever do Siege speedruns?
Were you trying to win as fast as possible?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever tried it, but I've won some Siege games pretty fast.
You, Mike.
Oh, you did do it with us. Wait, were you there? Do you remember it was like we did like Ra, Hel, Guan, Nuwa, and then I think it was like Apollo. It was whoever. Oh, might have been Soul actually. It was whoever was the best tower pusher. And we literally go like 3 frenzies, 2 meds, and before minions even spawned, we take like both tier 1s or something. It was so funny. We just backdoor them.
That's awesome,
dude. I miss that. I miss that type of stuff. I definitely get like why it's like, kind of troll for the game to be able to do that, but it is also so fun.
I think it's also just more interesting to play than like Invaders Curse and stuff.
Yeah, I guess I'm not the biggest fan of Invaders Curse, but I don't like the thing is that I feel like I guess if they took Invaders Curse away today, and people
You can't
started
take it
trying.
away.
Well, if they did
Yeah.
though, say okay, they're not going to, but say they do take it away today. I feel like there'd be more counterplay to the invades probably now because I feel like people are more like people are not as dumb as they were. Like people were still dumb back in season 6, in my opinion.
Mm, I don't think so.
You don't think
Okay,
so? I
no,
do.
no,
I think
I
so.
agree with that part, but you know why I think there wouldn't be that much counterplay? It's because of the leashing mechanic. I
Oh
think
yeah,
with
yeah. Without the leashing, okay.
sure, yeah.
Yeah, the leashing mechanic would be insane. By the way, that's
They would never
yeah.
be able to do anything. Yeah, you'd just sit there.
Well, they would never add that if Invader's Curse wasn't in the
That's fair,
game.
yeah.
So,
Yeah,
but yeah, I agree. Or maybe they would. But yeah, no, it would be crazy for sure with the leashing mechanic. I love doing that. I've done that a couple times this year where I play Kumba and I walk into their blue buff.
you love it.
Oh my
Yeah.
god! Or walking in their green buff. That's like the best. And you get a little friend to come on an adventure with you across the
Dude,
map.
That is
literally
something you would do versus adapting for sure.
literally first scrim of the year, we played the Ravens, and I was like, "Listen, guys, welcome to scrimming with me. I gotta do it." And I was like, "I gotta try it." So I forget what I picked. It probably was like Emoji or something, like something that could kill camps level 1 really easily.
Hmm.
And I just walked up to the Ravens purple, and it's like they just knew. Like they didn't ward. I was like the first one out of base for sure. I like checked it afterwards. Just bear a hurry, sitting there at the green buff, playing a corner on me, expecting me to do it. And they were right, and I did die for first blood. But you just gotta feel out the waters. You gotta test it out, and it's just fun to it's just fun to try to invade and see how people respond.
Yeah. We had a little bit of an invade meta last year, though. Even with Invaders Curse, the purple invade meta
Yeah.
with the smalls, or people were even doing the whole camp. That was so
Hmm.
troll.
I loved that.
Who started that? That was that you as well?
Yeah, I
I
did.
think.
I
Yeah.
started that. Yeah.
Nice.
I think that might have been the only one I did start. Well, I guess I kind of did season.
Well, you started the Thorns thing, which I guess is an
Yeah.
invade
Well,
thing.
season 5 and 7, I did the thing where I don't think I was the only one. So I feel like I don't think anyone should really take credit for it. I guess, but like purple used to spawn like later, like 30 seconds or whatever. So I would just 1v2 people at purple while Max would push the lane, and then he would come to me, and then we'd either like steal their purple, or if they did purple,
They
then
missed
me and
part
him
of the
would walk to
wave.
red. Yeah, and then we'd walk to red while they got the wave or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would do that type of stuff, but yeah, I don't know if I technically started it.
Yeah.
The
That's so
the purple
sick.
thing last year was fun. Do you remember what I did at the very start of it before they changed it?
No, I don't. Maybe refresh me.
What I used to do at the very start of it, last year, in hindsight, I kind of wish, I kind of hate saving stuff, but if there was anything I should have saved for Worlds, it probably was that. Um, I would just walk between red and purple. There was no Invader's Curse, and
Yeah.
there was no Invader's Curse on green. So I would literally just the supports would start purple alone, right? Because the ADC mid would do green, red together, and then they'd go ADC would go purple, hit level 2, right, and then go to lane. So I would just go invade the ADC on green. I would just go walk straight up, and then if the support left me and came with me to purple, then I would just have my ADC would just solo purple and then push a wave under their tower, and it would be the same thing as invade metas before that. And it was just, I mean, it basically, I don't know if it was a bug. I think they just didn't notice that they didn't put Invader's Curse in the whole jungle, which is why now it's literally the whole jungle if you walk past mid harpies, right?
Well,
You just get it. Yeah.
season 8, it was the same. I mean, it was like that for a long time, where Invader's Curse didn't stretch the whole
Yeah.
jungle. Because I remember I was thinking about invading speed buff again
Hmm.
that year. Because I remember I found a really good path into speed if you went from duo side, like where you said,
Yeah.
if you walk with the
You
green,
go between mid
you
T1 or whatever.
yeah, no, you go between Phoenix and T2
Oh yeah, yeah,
to
yeah,
get to
yeah.
speed
Yeah.
buff, and there's no Invader's Curse in between speed buff and back camps. So
Yep.
if you get there and then if you don't get spotted and you can get yourself in a good spot, it was just very high risk, because if you got spotted doing that, you would die because of Invader's Curse.
Did
So
you
that's why I never wanted to do it. But I remember thinking about doing that year because I thought it
did
could
you
be
play it
good.
in scrims at all?
I think I tried it, yeah, a couple times.
Yeah, because I think I tried it at the start of the year as well, and I don't remember why. I think I stopped because of the way they changed the XP values is why I stopped, and then why I ended up, like, doing it last year, because I think they did the thing where, like, I'm pretty sure originally there was no green buff on duo side, right? It was just red purple,
Yeah, it was
and
just
I
the what's it called? The Draugrs minis at the backs, right? It was in green.
yeah, and most of the time, yeah, you would either did you I forget, like, we still had hog, and I think we would hog purple or we would hog, like, the backs or something, I forget what it was, but, like, basically, we would just go backs to purple, and everybody would hit level 2 anyways, and it was like I forget the exact, like, XP timers, but it was just yeah, you just weren't really, like, getting an advantage, and then I think when they introduced green buff, the reason I wanted to do it was because I think you were actually hitting level 2 going into lane. And I think before you weren't hitting level 2 or something, you had to, like, actually
Yeah.
get the first wave. Um, so yeah, I it was something like that. Honestly, it's kinda funny. It's only been, like, a few months, but it's so hard to remember. It feels like forever ago. I love how the episode with MOSWAL, we're just talking about invading.
I know. We sidetracked. I was gonna branch it into something though. Speaking of like coming up with stuff, I feel like Maswell, you don't get enough credit for like some of the picks that you've made people play, like the Geb solo. That was like all Maswell. That's why we
Was
played
it
it.
really?
Yeah, at Worlds.
Yeah, I think I was just like, Cyno wanted to play a Wheelix, and I'm like, and
Mhm.
Divians didn't like Warriors because like Guardians were just better that year. And I was
No.
like, why don't you just play Gebo Wheelix? And he's like, okay. I
And
tried to get him to
Dude,
play Soap
that
too.
was like
So
the
I thought
one or
Soap was OP too.
yeah,
was your guys' first time trying that against us in scrims, by the
yeah,
way? Did you play yeah,
yeah.
okay.
That was literally the only game I think we beat you guys that entire like
Oh my
2 weeks
god,
we
that
Dude,
entire
scrimmed.
scribble. Oh, everybody is so tilted.
Triple
dude.
scrims with everybody on max tilt because we were on
I
high
did.
high
The,
ping, low FPS.
the
Everybody's
worst part
max
about it is,
tilted.
I wasn't that tilted. I was tilted in the other things. Just the way that season worked is there's just like every scrim, like most of the games will literally just be some team F6ing. Because like
Yeah, it
mid
was really
jungle
bad.
we didn't do anything.
It
It
was
was like
so
once a
bad.
duo lane, like okay, our duo lane lost.
Dude,
That's
we
GG.
were so criminal with that. We would do it versus I don't know if we did it versus you guys. I'm sure we did with the starts that we were all doing, but I feel like that's a little different. Like if you're practicing starts, I feel like it's kind of good to get a lot of reps in on it. Um, but we used to do it versus SSG because we would just get owned. Like I feel like Basket and Andy would get a kill in the 2v2 like almost every game. And it wasn't just because like they were just owning us. I just think like Scream and Ven weren't like communicating as much. Like we were just kind of being lazy in scrims, I think. And we reset so many scrims when we got a bad start. And I feel like the whole league, or not the whole league, but like a lot of the league, it was pretty common to do it. And it was so bad. Like, because then, like, what if that happens to you in an SBL game? You're just like, okay, go next. Like, obviously, you're never gonna think that way. So it's kind of stupid not to practice it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my favorite
early
one was
deaths
that
are so
year
bad.
where everybody was so tilted. I accidentally bought thorns on Zeus one game, and
Yes, I
I
wanted
didn't
to bring
tell
that
I
up.
anyone.
love
I
that.
didn't
Yeah.
tell anyone, man, because everybody's so mad. And I was like, this is like the first game where we actually like made it past 10 minutes. Like, oh my god, dude, I felt so bad.
Didn't Cyno say, "Why do you have thorns?" or something in the middle of the game?
Yeah.
You didn't beat something in mid, and he
No,
hits
yeah.
and he's like,
Yeah, I
"Maswell,
brought
why do
Aegis.
you have thorns?"
Yeah, dude, it wasn't even just that. It was just like we were playing versus Mercury, and I bought Aegis first, and I just die in mid, and
Dude,
then I bought Thor's for accident.
you know what the funny thing about that is I actually remember, like, obviously it was troll or like not very good, but you actually used the thorns pretty well. Like, I feel like a lot of people, if they buy the wrong relic, they just won't even use it. But were you Zeus that game? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you were Zeus, and I remember there was one fight in mid. You probably got like Merc halted, but you like you probably just thought you were dead. and you literally ran into Baskin and you thorns and dropped your whole kit and you almost killed him. Baskin was like, "Holy shit, he just thorns me." It was actually so funny on our end too. I loved it.
I'm a pretty good thorns there. I remember whenever Shield of the Underworld was added, I'd play Zhong Queen mid and go thorn.
Dude, I never built Shield of the Underworld on support, and I just can't believe it. That item had to have been
It was
so
so
much
much
fun,
fun.
man.
I
So
can't believe
much fun.
half of the items like we just didn't buy because like
I
we
know,
didn't know.
man.
And so like Spear of the Magus, like you remember Spear of Magus when it had like 30 flat pin, 20% pin.
Dude, didn't it
And
used to go up to 50 or something ridiculous?
there was two iterations and both are like really broken. One was like I think it was 30 prot reduction, 15 flat pin,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
20% pin. And people didn't buy that for like years. And then the second
It's
one was
not very good.
65 like and nobody bought that one either.
It doesn't have CDR, so you don't want it.
It was so dumb, dude.
Wait, MOSWAL, do you have because I feel like something that's kind of interesting about you is I feel like again from my perspective, like I feel like you always have your own opinions, even now, about what you think the best mage builds are. Do you have any items that, like, historically you think people overrate or maybe underrate a lot in mid that you just think, like, because I feel like mids always complain about, like, recently it's the same sort of thing of, like, it'll be stuff like Divine doesn't feel that good to buy, for example, or like, oh, I have to build Reaver every game. I'm kind of curious what you think about all that type of stuff.
I think the only item I thought was like really overrated was like percent pin in general, to be honest. Because like I remember like a few years ago, I was like, I don't know if you remember whenever Reaver had percent pin and like I thought that was the only good percent pin item, and I would just buy that in E-Staff because E-Staff's more damage in tanks than like pin if you like tested it. And I just buy that because E-Staff makes you live. I thought E-Staff has always been like the most underrated mid item.
Not this year, but yeah, before this year, I agree with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Dude, I feel like before, do you guys remember? It was like season 8. I feel like there was maybe an E-Staff meta in there somewhere. But I don't know. E-Staff is like, I think every tank player hates that item so much that you don't even want to talk about it. Like, I don't want anyone to build it. I'd rather no one buys that.
Yeah, when you take away like 400 health with one ability, and you're like, "Oh, that's my health now."
Yeah.
Dude, you know what else I can't believe people don't build? Did you ever have people build like mannequins? It's Hidden Blade, I think, against you in scrims a lot, Aurora?
I remember the only person who ever built it like every game was Scream when I used to play against him for a little bit, but that's like the only person that built it
Dude,
a ton. I remember.
in the warrior jungle meta, specifically, you wouldn't I don't think he did it on Gilga, but he did it on Osiris and Erlang for sure. We would scrim against the Levi's, and Panny would sometimes go mannequins Hidden Blade. And I swear to God, he would do nothing other than try to follow me around and just poke me. And it would
Pin
hit me
you
for
was
like
early.
800. He would just pin me. I'm like a third of my health gone. I can't believe people don't buy it. Maybe it's not as good anymore, but I feel like
They nerfed it, I
maybe
think, a little bit, right? Was
yeah,
it?
they did. They
I
did.
think
Yeah.
people built it for like. Wasn't there like 1 month where people built it
It was
every
because
game?
it was bugged on fire. You could like repeat proc it on fire.
Yeah, that's
So
probably what it was.
you would just one shot it basically.
Well, it still works like that a little bit. Like you literally walk the fire and just mannequins it for like 3k damage. It's really
Yeah,
funny.
you can do it at the start, but you used to be able to do it at the start and off cooldown. Like the cooldown would go down while you're in combat. And I think now they made it so that the cooldown, like you have to be out of combat for it to activate or something like that. It was so I don't know. I feel like maybe mannequins as a starter is just bad, but I kind of wish there was a mannequins Hidden Blade meta. I like that item. I think
I think I had a suggestion. Like I hate Protector as like a jungle item
I
because I
hate it
think
too.
it's just like I think it's just like incentivizes you to play tank junglers.
Of
And I was
course,
like,
yeah.
I feel like you should just swap Hidden Blade with like Protector because I think Hidden Blade is like the coolest jungle item in the game in my opinion.
Yeah, I've always liked Hidden Blade and Bumbus Hammer a lot, personally.
Mannequins is also an item that was like. Does anyone even build mannequins in comp
Mm-mm.
this year in any
No,
game? I don't think.
I think
Maybe it's built
I think
one
it's just
time.
bad.
But yeah,
I tried to bring it up this year, to last, and like I tried to bring it up to him, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll try it," but I'm like pretty sure the item's bad. So I played it in ranked as well, and
mhm.
it definitely does feel like it falls off a cliff after like level 5 or 6. I feel like it just doesn't really do anything that noticeable.
I remember it's so broken though for Gold Fury and the
Oh yeah,
Scorpions and everybody.
Scorpion, dude.
I
Scorpions.
think that's when people was it was bugged as well. So everybody had it
Mhm.
for like that little bit of time, and then it never was built again after that. It felt like the item is
Yeah,
crazy. It's cool. I like that item a lot. And for some reason, I have this memory of Scream playing. I was watching a stream one time, and he was playing Agni like every game in mid, and he was going Hidden Blade Agni, and he was
that's
dashing
broken.
people.
Yeah, that
That
is
was
actually
like that
broken.
was like back when Hidden Blade first came out though. He's like, this item, you just buy it in every god and you win the game. That's what he said. And so he's like, I'm gonna buy it in Agni and it's free wins.
Dude, I miss you know what my favorite like scrim tilt like player is? I don't know if it's tilt or just like they're done with it.
Hmm.
Variety used to be so funny in like season 6 or whatever it was on Dig. Anytime they were just done scrimming, which happened a lot because like it was just the classic like I invaded and they didn't sort of thing, you know? They hated it.
Hmm.
Harry, the last game of the day, whichever number game it was, he would play Agni solo and he would build every single proc item. He'd go like Warrior's Axe, E Staff, Gem of Ice, like anything that had like an internal cooldown, he would just build it. And he would just walk around and fume you and walk away. He wouldn't bomb, he wouldn't two, he just fumed and walked away. And he loved it, man.
That's awesome.
He actually
That's so
fragged though.
alpha.
He did top damage like every game. He was going crazy.
Dude, my favorite variety scrim moment was from season 8. Like that I have memory of this. And we we did the gas Benji did the gaslight special where he played Oleron for some reason for weeks straight against him, and he made him think it was broken, and then the Kings actually thought that people were playing Oleron in solo. And then Variety was playing it. I think he played it. I don't know if it's in an SPL game or like he was. I think Genetics was talking about it in his stream, maybe saying like, "Yeah, we've been playing like some really weird picks in Soul Lane. Like, you guys are gonna be surprised or something." And then like I remember like a month later, he's like, "Yeah, this Solo Lane meta was weird this season. Like, people were playing Oleron like every game for a little bit, and I thought that was the funniest thing ever."
I love that.
Oh my god, Benji was such a troll. That was his favorite. That was his favorite pick, the Oleron solo, dude. That reminds me.
Dude,
That it just reminds me. The Agni solo reminds me of the Oleron solo for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Benji auto attack Chunga will always be my favorite Benji troll moment. He went crazy on that.
What's your favorite go-to troll item, MOSWAL, that you would buy in a game if the game was over, or that you were just like trolling in a scrim as a mid laner? Did you ever buy a troll item?
Gemma by Surajin.
That's toxic. That's
I loved it, man. You literally two the support and they can't move.
dude.
What about you, Mike?
Troll item?
Yeah. That you would just randomly just buy, like you're like if you're just in a troll mood, you're like, this game, I need this item or something. Because like that that Benji Oleron thing also reminds me of like when Benji was super fed in a scrim, he would always buy Oboe 2 on every warrior for some reason, and I always just thought it was the funniest thing. Like he would just be Sun Wukong with Oboe 2, or like Ama with and you'd be like, why is there lightning shooting
that
around?
is a good one. Dude, I can't remember the name of it, but it was when I was playing Herc.
Yeah.
I used to always have a troll item that I would buy. I don't remember the physical items as well.
Masamune?
Yes, that's it. Yes, that's actually it. Oh my god. Okay, it wasn't.
I would
it
build
wasn't.
it unironically. I would build it on purpose. Some
Okay,
games.
no, that's not the troll part because I
Yeah.
agree it was good. The troll part was I would do it first item,
Oh.
and I would I would do it first item, and then if I got it, because I'd be like, guys, like I'm gonna win the early game anyways. They're like, they're like a Geb or something, whatever it is. So I'd build it first item, and then I would proceed to like not go Thebes or whatever, and I would just get one shot, and then Twig would be like, wow, that's crazy, you didn't build Thebes, and you're just sort of dying. That's wild. Like you just say stuff like that. My favorite magical item, though I still swear this is actually good. I have had a couple Cyclopean Ring games this year,
Oh, that's OP.
and
You
it
MOSWAL, you
actually
gotta
is
get on that train.
OP. It actually is
Cyclopia
OP.
for on like
Yes.
mages.
Yeah, just
No, on
randomly built,
Guardians.
or just on anything. You
Yeah,
just
anything Cyclopean.
slotted in like 5th item randomly one game.
Dude, it's like 8% max health damage. It's actually broken. I built it a bunch. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter what I say I played this year because, like, it's no surprise. Like, I played Yamoja in a few scrims. That's crazy. And I
Well,
built. Yeah, usually I played Cyclopean Ring Yamoja, and it's OP. It gives her CDR, and I'm just auto attacking anyways. I'm one shotting people. It's actually broken.
You want to know the most broken item I think right now is honestly Abyssal Stone. Oh
Dude,
God,
dude, you've been watching my YouTube. Nice by you, dude. Abyssal Stone on mage supports is actually broken. You just proc it off cooldown, man. You just play Baron.
Doesn't it give you negative CDR if you don't have any?
What do you mean?
Like if you have zero CDR,
Mhm.
you hit a hunter with that thing and they don't want to play Smite.
Oh yeah, it just increases your cooldowns. It owns you. If you like hit somebody first
Hitting
and they have to use an
with it or
yeah. I mean, even if you
Before
just
they
if you just make a backline or use an escape, like if you hit a Merlin with that early game, it's like a 40-second flicker cooldown. He's just screwed. Like he can't go anywhere.
What does Merlin say when he flickers? Does he say "Watch your step"?
No, it's Janice.
He says beware.
Oh,
He says
beware! Yeah, no one's. Yeah, oh, that is Janice. He's people are not going to be aware of him for a while after that Abyssal Stone proc.
You know what my other favorite? Sorry, one last item.
Yeah.
You know what's really fun to buy on Herc and Fenrir support? I don't know if you ever did it, but Erendite was actually so fun to build on those gods if you wanted another damage item. You would just zoom.
I wish I built that item more. I tried a little bit, but yeah, that item on Herc is crazy fun. Especially regrowth already.
Exactly, yeah, you just zoom at them. It was so
fun.
fun.
I remember I think I was one of the first people who told people about I think I told Divius about it. It was Field of Regrowth Herc. I remember whenever they changed it, I'm like, dude, this item looks so broken. He's like thinking of characters he could buy it on. It was like Herc. Like that started that whole thing.
Dude, was it season 3 they changed it? I remember building it on Amma a lot. I don't know if I built it. Oh, I used to. Okay, that's actually how Prophetic Cloak Fafnir started. By the way, I used to go Shield of Regrowth Fafnir in like season 3 and season 4, and I would just run around in the jungle and I would do myself and hammer somebody and jump away, and I would just keep doing it over and over. It was so fun.
That's awesome.
I was stacking Travelers though. Like I was getting gold. It was for a good reason.
We gotta get. Speaking of mid laners, we gotta get Herwin on the podcast now that he's a support, because he would always like. I would be in the jungle, like I'd be back camps by myself, like when I would play with him, and I'd be like.
It like makes him nervous.
Well, no, he wouldn't care. Their entire team would be running away, and he's like, "Why are they running from you? You're alone." He would always say that. Like I would be chasing someone like from back camps, and he would always say that. He's like, "I wonder if he's done that as support now, since he's like swapped, where he's the support running at the other team at back camps." And he was always like so confused. Like, how does that work? Like, why do you do that? Like, what are you doing back there? How he couldn't fathom like why people were running away from me when I was by myself, like at their back camps. I wonder if he's done that,
dude. You know what's funny about Hurry?
Yeah.
When he first started scrimming as support, this was like last year when he was playing SEC before Scarabs and stuff. I used to give him a lot of shit because I didn't like season 8 that much, and the reason I didn't like it was because back harpies were like a 45-second cooldown, like respawn or whatever they were.
Yeah.
And I just felt like my whole team, all they wanted to do was farm back harpies the whole game. I felt like I just didn't interact with my teammates half the time. And I was just like, guys, can we please like group up for mid harpies? Can we like ward? Can we play a corner? Can we do anything? And it's like, nope, back harpies are up, gotta go farm. And he used to argue with me so much about like, Mike, you just always want to fight. You always want to do stuff. And I'm like, no, dude, it's not that I always want to. It's that you guys would, if it was up to you, you would just play PvE all day and I would lose my mind. And then the first thing he said to me in scrims, he's like, "Yeah, I get it now. Like, I get why you just want to fight. I'm bored as fuck." He's like, I just want to run around and hit people. Like, yes, thank you, man.
That's how it feels mid. This is like I'm AFK farming. I can't kill anybody. And I'm just running away the entire game from the solo laner and jungler. And I'm like, I want to kill those guys.
Yeah, it's a team effort. You gotta get people on the same page, man.
Do you remember MOSWAL at Worlds, the first game in the finals where you didn't say anything? What was going through your mind that game? Why? That's one of the best World stories I feel like ever. MOSWAL literally. Were you Agni that game, right?
I was Vulcan.
Oh, you were Vulcan.
I was
you were
owning.
Yeah, you were owning. I'm not saying you weren't owning, but it was just funny because it was just like MOSWAL is like someone who always like communicates very well and like he's always talking in every single game, but for some reason it was probably because you were nervous or whatever.
Yeah.
But you just didn't say a single word. Like you talked like in both of the other sets. So it's not like it was like just because it was like a Worlds game. It wasn't like your first one. It's like we won both sets, and then for some reason in the finals, game one, you just didn't say a word. Like people would say your name, and you just didn't say anything. It was the funniest thing ever. Looking back at it, I remember Cyno after the game is like, "MOSWAL, you need to talk." And like that's like I love that. I was saying the same thing. I'm like, MOSWAL, we are not gonna win if you don't talk. And you're like, I was owning them. I'm like, yeah, you were owning, but we need to know how you were owning.
That's actually the best response ever. I'm fragging. Let me cook.
Yeah, I was just really nervous, and we were kind of losing a little bit. So
why were you even nervous? Didn't you guys 3-0? It was
well, just,
big. You
I don't know. It's that game, I just felt really nervous. I can't.
I mean, it definitely does have more like weight to it. I get it for sure.
That game was so funny too, though, because Cyno was that the game where Cyno killed you with the Pele alt splash.
No, that was the Agni game.
Was that game 2 or game 3?
Was that Agni game 2?
I don't remember, but whatever game that was, because it's funny because you would get Cyno.
It was game 3, right? Because you guys didn't go down 2-0, right?
No, yeah, it was game 2. We won. We. It was looking grim. I remember in the second game. That's when we came back. But he was.
That's when you got the Finra ult bug. I remember that one.
No, that was game 3.
That's right.
You could fight or whatever.
Yeah, that was game 3, I think. Game 2 was not when I got the Finra ult bug. I don't think, because the Fenrir alt bug game, that was a good early game for us, I think. We had a bad early game, so it was game 2. Yeah, it was game 2 because Cyno was in Asia. I remember he said he missed everything in the jungle on Ice, and then he died. No, it was that he didn't miss everything. He said that he just didn't press anything. Like he just walked up to Ice, and he just let Ice kill him. He didn't even do anything. And then he was like running away, and he got you. You died.
You helped him.
And it was so funny because I saw it happen. Like I didn't say anything, but I saw it happen. Like from my POV, like from across the map, because I saw you guys both die. Like from where I was standing, I didn't say anything in the game, but I was laughing in my head because he would always get mad at you if you blocked him and got him killed. But like he got you killed and you just didn't say anything. It was so funny.
I don't know what it is, man. I would just always body block Cyno. It was never intentional, but it would always happen.
I would always body block him too. I would Terra Monolith as Merkel. I did it like 12 times.
That's awesome.
Unintentionally though.
Dude,
like,
you know what I
always get so mad. Like never play Terra when I'm Merc. And I'd be like, okay. And then like a couple weeks later it would happen again. He's like, oh my god, why are you Terra? And I'd be like, oh my god.
Dude, I used to do that in lane. I used to like when you were just 3-1 the lane as Terra.
Yeah.
I used to always just block Max's like Impale or his Hoi one just every single game. And he would just lose it. And he's like, why don't you just put it anywhere else? I'm like, well, I want to hit the dash damage as well. Like the dash does damage. I gotta hit it.
Dude, the another thing with Terra too, with Cyclone at Goldfear or Fire Giant, I would always try to put my heal down to like heal us during during an objective. And now where I place my heal, like I even do it now still till this day.
They
Like
drag gold into it.
no, it's not that he drags gold into it. I would place it just right like in the middle-ish area, and like sometimes yeah, gold will get dragged into it, so it's bad to do that in the first place. But I feel like I would always perfectly place it in front of where he was gonna shoot gold or fire, and we've lost multiple
Yeah.
golds and fires because I've blocked 1 or 2 attacks with my Terra monolith, just even like a basic attack. Like one
That's
or two
kind of
times. So nowadays, like I'll put my Terra heal like right outside the objective pit, or like if it's on fire, like I am consciously thinking when I'm pulling fire as Terra, if I'm gonna put my monolith down, I am gonna put it in a spot where it's not gonna block my hunter no matter what, even if people have to walk into the heal if they want to get it, instead of just trying to put it in a spot where it instantly heals them. But it's
yeah.
funny to think that I was doing that
I
forever.
you know well, until this year, like FG was like up against a wall, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you could like Terra to it. I literally stopped Terra toing it when we were the ones pulling fire for like I mean honestly, I would have tried not to do it unless I thought I really had to. Because if your ADC was standing like defensively on your side of the map, the walls would just stick out far enough that like you could clip their autos so easily because it was just like on the back of the pit, and it's just so awkward, like little walls like that. Though to be fair, like surely they know your character, like they could move a little bit.
Yeah. Wait, MOSWAL, this is another random story. You remember when you was it Zap where you said I'm gonna get him, and then you dashed to Zagny and got one shot by Heart Bomb?
Oh my god, dude!
Was that Zap?
Yeah,
Who was
yeah. It was up. It was up.
You
I
and
was like,
Zap?
I'm gonna go kill this guy.
You and Zap montaged each other in the most stupid ways that year.
Oh my god, yeah, dude,
You-
I killed him with turret. Yeah, you went to the turret and died.
You killed him with turret. He killed Zap with turret twice that year. Like where Zap, like there would just be a random turret in the jungle. Like after a fight was over, Zap's 1 HP, and he walks into it and just dies. It happened twice. Like I remember the fight ended. It was do you remember the one at Red Buff where you had it in between the Red Buff rock and the Gold Fury rock, and the fight's over, he's at 1 health and he's just walking towards like I think oracles, and your turret's just there and it goes boop and he dies, and we all started laughing. And everybody's like, what happened, and you're like my turret killed him.
Oh my, that was peak like Vulcan, because that was when Boomba's hammer was not Boomba's hammer, Boomba's mask was in the game,
Oh
and I'd go
yeah.
Boombas and run around.
Dude, that was so fun, man.
It
Yeah.
was so broken. Dude.
I still
Holy.
maintain the Bumba's Mask rank meta was the most fun one to play.
I wish I participated in that one. I wanted to see
Dude,
Boomba Cyno in action.
He was a legend for sure. Still is a legend for that. The Boomba Cyno Beck and the Boomba Cyno Kronos, just unreal.
I was eating with, sorry to cut you off, but I was eating with Baskin one day with him and Aggro. It was at the beginning of this year. And Baskin has a clip of him playing Guan Yu where he ults from his Phoenix all the way to the enemy red buff with Bumba's mask and like Heavenly and Regrowth. It's the funniest thing on the planet. It looks like a bug in the game, but it's just like, it looks like he's speed hacking, but he's not. It's so stupid.
Yeah, I remember that clip. It's a good one. Honestly, like, it's kind of funny, but I remember I used to like, I think that was like season 6 or something, and I used to play a lot of rank during that Bumba's meta because I actually thought it was really good mechanical practice. Like when everybody is like 3 times their normal speed, you really have to work on your aiming because it's actually hard to hit everybody. Sometimes it'd be a little bit lucky, like they're just zooming around. Like nobody should get hit by like a Yamoja ability, for example.
Just throw it out there and hope for the best.
Yeah, just get those bubbles bouncing.
That's how jungle is right now. You're just way faster than everybody.
That's why
junglers
the
didn't have
start of
speed
this
buff, man.
year was so broken, man. The 14% like flat buff speed.
Oh my god, dude.
So OP.
It's not.
Well, that was like
good
it last
buff,
year
though.
too. Well, last year with the
Yeah, it's horrible.
Scorpions, it was so broken.
Yeah, speed's never good though. Even though saves you constantly.
It is wild that junglers are just like, yeah, I just want to take red buff. I'm like, do you not know how broken speed buff is?
Dude, they get speed buff and wing shard level 1, and they can just Fatalis auto you down the lane.
That's not very good though.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I didn't realize. MOSWAL, can you talk to us a little bit about? Well, I don't know if it's your most known ranked venture, but you guys streamed. Well, Roy streamed. You played with him a good bit last year, right? And you were a bit of a Loki main. And I'm kind of curious. Can you take us into the school of MOSWAL Loki?
Yeah, you buy Boomba's hammer and you win the game.
You think he's OP?
I think that character is broken.
Johnny played him a lot and got a ban from it.
That's
right?
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, man. He plays it once every year, destroys everybody, and they're like, "Yeah, Loki isn't a good jungler, guys."
Dude, Twig played it against us. I don't know if it was season 8 or 9, but I know we had Sam for sure. And he played Loki jungle, and he would just alt Sam off cooldown. It was actually broken. Like, even when Sam could live, like he had to play the 1v1s like so perfectly. Loki's actually kind of OP.
You can't win 1v1. Like I did that, and
crazy.
it was the other one was Eset Zeus. I don't think Mino left a single game.
I didn't stream any of that. That was going into World Season 8. That was probably my craziest rank run. I think I was 21-1 to cap. I played every game with MOSWAL. I played 2 Sylvanas games. I was 2-0 on Sylvanas. I think we played Sylvanas Zeus in those games. I think MOSWAL just played 21 Zeus games in a row. So he played 2 Zeus games with Sylvanas, and the rest of them, I went 19-1 as Eset. And you guess who I lost with on my team as Eset, the one game that we lost. Do you remember who was with MOSWAL or no?
No.
You don't remember the game we lost? Because we were on our Smurfs and he was calling us trolls for picking it.
Now, who was it?
It was Weekend. That's the only game I lost. Is that combo? Yeah. I wish I brought that up when he was on, but yeah, the one game me and MOSWAL lost in our like 21-1 climb to cap on our Smurfs.
Yeah, I remember why we were doing it too. It's like I've always thought Zeus was broken. I still think he's OP now, but just like no one picks him. And you thought Eset was broken at the time too, and that's like the best combo you can do with it.
Yeah,
dude, I'm a big fan of Hurry and I ran it season 8. I think we did it against Bolts, but Ganesha Zeus is actually a banger too. Because like, dude, if they don't have an escape, you just box them in and throw your little shield in there, and they're dead.
That's not my favorite Ganesha combo. My favorite Ganesha combo is one I never got to play. It was Baron Ganesha. I think Baron mid is so OP. And like you would throw the stupid pillars down, you'd pull the support.
Dude, don't even get me started on Baron mid, man. Dude, I actually swear there's so many I understand why mid laners have the gods that they like. But I swear I think there's so many characters you like could play. Like I think I was having a lot of fun. People played like Opwash at the start of this year. They would try it a little bit. And I think he had a lot of like really good games actually. And I feel like people just completely stopped. But it's weird. Everybody stopped, but the healing, like, the healing meta didn't really stop.
Yeah. I think it's the most OP is mid because like you could do it in other roles where you like get last pick, and I think most mages get last pick now. And that's what I was like also saying is like there's so many characters that are just underrated that people just never play.
Well, you do know what Baron's passive is as well, right?
Yeah, it's percent damage, right?
It's 20% damage increase. It's fucking broken,
Baron damage is broken. I don't think Baron tank is good, but I think Baron mid is really good.
It's so crazy, man.
The most I got tilted was like I like Yu Hong. I love playing the character, but I think the year he came out and he had like a 30% win rate, and people just kept.
Hagon was the only one who won with him. I felt like that year.
I was like, there are so many good mages you can pick.
Dude, Daniel was so good at Yu Hong. I don't know if he still is or not. He probably doesn't practice him that much. It was funny too because I think Scream was saying this. I don't know if you guys watched him the other night. Scream was saying that he was actually right. Like Daniel literally didn't know what the kit did. Like he didn't know how the Dow worked. He didn't know how Yu Hong Ot worked. He had no idea how to aim it. And he played it in scrims because I thought it was really good. I played him like on release. Like I just thought, well, I didn't know if I would say he's really good. I just thought he was like worth trying. He's just a new god, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, like we should try it in scrims. And Max was like, oh yeah, like oh yeah. I actually
Oh
like
yeah, oh yeah, let's get it. Yeah, yeah.
He was like, yeah, I actually like it too. I think we even played a ADC a couple games and had Daniel play a hunter or something. I don't know why we did that, but we definitely did do it. And then it was like just randomly Daniel just kept like trying it, and then I remember there were just a bunch of scrims where like Scream and I would call like, okay, we're rotating to Scorpions, and like as we're coming out of base to go to Scorpions, like first spawn together, we would just see a dragon in the air and just have it crash mid, and Daniel would just pull somebody out of their tower and one tap them, and we'd be like, oh nice, he knows what the alt does now. He just owned everybody with it.
That's awesome.
Dude, there were so many fights he would like. I feel like the only way Yuhong is good is if you start the fight with your alt. I feel like if you don't do that, like it's gonna be impossible for it to be good.
Yeah, I think like the weird comparison I've ever had to Yuhong, I would always compare him to Janice in my opinion. It's just like
You
he's
just
just
think it's
such
like
a 50.
gimmicky.
Yeah, he's just like a 50-50. I think Janice is OP right now. I don't think he's very gimmicky because he like randomly got 20%
His
wins and
Q is
everything.
so good, man.
I hate Janice still. You can't convince
Like
me that he's OP.
I hate having Janice on my team. I hate having Janice on my team.
Two characters that I'll never. I don't care how good they are. I don't care how good they were in the past. I don't care if they do this or that, or if they stupid start growing tentacles that can sweep the map in one shot. Like Thor and Giannis are two characters I will forever hate, and if they're on my team, and if they're not 20-0,
Really?
I hate both those characters.
Wait,
with a passion.
in competitive too?
No, just in ranked.
I
I don't
hate
care.
Thor.
In comp, it's different. But
I was gonna say you have Baskin on your team. No way you think that about Thor.
In
No
ranked,
shot.
I hate those characters. I also play with Sot too when Sot played Thor like every game in
that
season
was really
6.
good at it.
I don't care about it in comp, but in ranked, if you're a Thor or Giannis on my team, I don't like you. I don't care if you're a good player, bad player, the best player, the worst player. If you're Thor or Janice, I don't care if you're the best Thor that's ever played the game. I'm not happy. Same thing with Janice. Unless you single-handedly win us the game 1v9, then that's the only way I'll like you. You have to carry me that hard for me to make me a believer in ranked of those two characters.
How you feel about those two gods, or how I feel about Poseidon and Scylla. Every single time someone picks Poseidon or Scylla, I think the game is just over. I think those characters are so bad.
Me and MOSWAL MOSWAL thought it was so funny when I used to call Poseidon the best god in the game for like when I started doing that in like season 3. You'd always say, yeah, he's the best god.
Yeah, I remember in season 5, like we were playing Poseidon and scrims a little bit, and then Benji randomly picked Kazimba versus me, and I don't think I've ever played that character again since.
No, you played it. Remember season 6? I'm gonna bring you back to the spot. You're gonna get mad. Season 6. No, you didn't even miss Kraken on fire. That's whatever, because that happens all the time. But Divios got a 4-man Hades ult over red buff wall, and you had Kraken up, and you didn't use it. And Divios is like, MOSWAL! Kraken! And you're like, oh yeah, I should have Kraken. It was against Dig. Oh my god.
Poseidon's just like the biggest bait character in Smite ever, in my opinion.
I kind of think Poseidon jungle is like solid. I could see it from mid though. I don't know. Poseidon, there's just some random like mage jungle games. Maybe I'm just a Captain Twig lover, but I would just see
with
Twig.
A bunch of Poseidons. That's why.
Yeah, I definitely have. But I don't know. There would just be random. Okay, to be fair, they definitely would int games too. But there'd just be random games where Twigs pops, and I'm just like, cool. Everybody's dead. Like he goes to somebody, they're dead.
You know who also loves Poseidon that we were just talking about?
Me, yeah, I love Poseidon.
Yeah, you love Poseidon. This Baskin loves Poseidon too.
Oh, does he?
Remember, he subbed in for you for that one event when Twig couldn't play the first round.
Did he play Pos?
And he played only Poseidon, and he went.
He played Janice one game, I think.
Maybe he played Janice, but I remember he played 1 or 2 games of Poseidon, and he went Doom Orb, Toxic Blade, Poseidon.
That's OP.
And he was zoom chopping people with his wave, with his 2.
Twig probably told him to do that. That is a Captain Twig certified build for sure.
That is a Captain Twig. I like that. But yeah, I remember he played that.
Yeah, the Captain Twin gods were so OP. He played Baron, Anubis, and Poseidon.
Dude,
And
dude, he played Oleron, Anubis, and Baron bottom 2 with me. That was the most. He was so fun to play with. That split. It was
Yeah,
dude. It
he's
was
the
a
most
tank
underrated
player
role swap.
dream. What do you say?
In my opinion, he's the most underrated role swap in my opinion. Everybody was always like shitting on Twig and mid, and I thought he was a really good mid.
I said multiple times. I thought he was our MVP of like the fall split. I thought he was like the most impactful. Just like I feel like a lot of people don't value it, but like just draft what he let the rest of us do was really, really broken. Like because I would always like top pick. I feel like just back then, like there were so many top pick support gods because that was when Ymir got buffed too. So it was like Yamoja and Ymir were banned almost at every game, and there was like a bunch of characters after that I wanted to like high pick. And he would just like bottom 2 characters that would just fight with me so well, and it just made my game so easy. It was actually just the way he let us play was so OP.
That year, he was literally the third best jungler in the league or second best jungler in the league in every split when he was in mid.
Yeah, no, he was sick.
He was literally. I'm not even joking. He was like the third or second best jungler. Like Sam was like either like 1 or 2, and then Twig
it was like Sam
right,
and Cherry, and then
Twig, but Twig was playing mid. that's Twig's impact, dude. He was still a top jungler even though he was playing mid at the same time. You guys had 2 of the best junglers in the league on your team at the same time, doing the same
jungle
thing,
monopoly,
helping the sidelines out.
Yeah, he'd get behind like a lot. He would like literally just like miss like 2 mid waves to like go gank a lane and get someone ahead.
Dude, my favorite thing that Twig would do, and it's still so funny. Like there's some random like games I've looked back at. There'd be fights where we would like start a goal. It mainly happened when he was like POS. We'd start like a fight around Gold Fury. He would literally like come over. He'd get engaged on. He would crack and drop his whole kit on whoever we were on, and then he'd live at like 20% HP. He wouldn't back. He wouldn't do it. He would just beeline to solo. He would just beeline to solo and just split push and take everything. And then he'd be like, "Oh, nice guys, we didn't kill anyone, but I'm actually ahead now." And he would just get fed.
You literally just did the best Twig impersonation right there.
I love the way Twig talks. He's so funny.
That's exactly how you would say it. Yeah, guys, I'm ahead now. But that is like the most jungle thing to do ever, though, is just drop your entire kit and then just be like, yeah, I'm not backing, but I'm gonna get some farm. You guys have fun over there.
That's how I play mid.
Do you guys remember? You guys remember Raffer used to do that as support when his team was behind? He'd just start pushing. He'd be like Athena. He'd be Athena. And he would just start beelining it to the enemy like Phoenix. He would just be splitting. He'd opt out. I loved that.
Oh my god! I don't know why Raffer made me think of this story, but we have to talk about it, MOSWAL. When you first joined, okay, you scrimmed with us in Splice when you first joined the team, and I remember we were all like, yeah, you're gonna play a bunch of Morgan and all these picks and stuff, and you were playing and you were owning, and then like literally the week after, you're like, yeah, guys, I don't like that, and then you just played watching Zeus and Vulcan and Agni, and you're like, and Raijin a lot as well. But it was just funny because you were like, yeah, I'm gonna play Morgan like every game, and then you're like, yeah, I don't like Morgan anymore randomly. And you were owning every game. It didn't make any sense.
Morgan's just like a weird play style, and like I think I was good at Morgan. I'm like pretty washed on that character now, but like I was good at it at the time. But like that was whenever the outpush buff came in, where it's like ult went through walls. He was just the best god in the game, and also no one was picking him. Yeah, no one was picking him either.
Who was the coach on Weekend's team that played mid at some point? You know who I'm talking about? He was the coach. Shadowcheer. Yes.
Shadowcheer. Yeah.
My favorite SPL highlight ever in existence is when Shadowcheer was playing Outwash and someone went on him. It was the last fight. It was a 5v5 fight in mid, and someone jumped on him over mid camp wall. And he was playing Outwash, and he turns into mid-camp wall, and he Outwash ults, and that was before Outwash ult could go through walls, and you just couldn't even see the Outwash ult, but he ulted. And I was like, no, that just happened! And I remember highlight. I don't know why. I'm sorry, Shadow Tree, for that. That is like one of the biggest plays in SPL. And then, okay, there was that play that year. The two biggest plays, MOSWAL's gonna remember this because we were all watching the games. Remember, around my computer, we were watching the qualifier games at the boot camp. When Inbound was playing Cerberus, and he jumped into all the Outwash bodies in Odin Cage, and we were all like, "No!" You remember that?
Yeah.
He
Dude,
jumped
I'll
in.
probably,
He Cowabunga one-shot himself in Cerberus to
dude,
Outwash.
I
Explosion.
love Outwash into Serb. That is a fun matchup.
No, it's not, man. No, it's not.
Yeah, you
I'm a
fun
dog.
yourself.
I'm a dog guy. I love that little guy.
Okay, going back to what I was saying before, I actually think you'd be good at Morgan now if you actually played Morgan, just because you play so many jungle gods. But the other thing is too, is you played Morgan, you were owning or whatever, scrims were going well, and then I remember your power went out, and you don't have a phone or any way to contact you if your power went out, and it went out for like 3 or 4 days. MOSWAL just
Yeah.
missed scrims. No one
Oh
even
my
knows
God,
where he's at, and this is the week of SPL starting. We just don't know
Wait,
where
that's why you guys
MOSWAL's
had to
at.
play with Best?
Yeah, we MOSWAL just disappeared off planet Earth for like 4 days, and we're like, okay. We were just like, hopefully, I remember we prepped, we did everything. We're like, he'll probably be on tomorrow for SPL. Hopefully, like, I think he'll be like, maybe he'll be on. Like, I don't know what happened, but hopefully he's on. So we wake up and he's still not on. So I messaged Best, asking him if he played. He's like, yeah, sure, I'll play. But it was so funny because MOSWAL gets back. Like, I think it was after game 1, and we just ended up playing the rest of the set with Best because MOSWAL was like, you guys just play because I haven't played in a couple days or whatever because the power's been out. And we played, and then that was my first introduction of playing with MOSWAL. His powers goes out right before SPL starts, and I just don't hear anything from him until
Oh my
like
God,
What a
4
great
days
first
later.
impression.
I felt so bad, dude.
What were you thinking? Like, did you know that SPL was that day where you're like, hopefully my power comes back? Is that what you were thinking in your head?
Because where I live in like a pretty like, it's not like a city area, so like if my power goes out, it's like out for like a while, and I felt so bad because you guys just got me.
That was the funniest thing. Kabam was like, nice, MOSWAL, nice. That has to be. There is not more of a troll thing I feel like that you can do to a team, like a troll that you don't mean to do to some team, like randomly when you first join it. Is like you join a you scrim, everything's going well, then SPL is about to start. 4 days before SPL, you just disappear into the abyss. And no one knows what happened to you, and then you just randomly pop back onto the battleground like 4 days later. And you're like, "Hey guys, yeah, my power was out."
I love it.
Is there any other stories that you want that come to your mind, Mike, or anything else that you want to cover, or no?
No, I think I got everything. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of surprised. I'm pleasantly surprised that Nozier isn't being as much as a MOSWAL bully.
He said
Not-
one thing in chat. I don't like that.
What do you say? I can't even read my chat when I do this because if I read my chat, I freeze my stream, and then if I look at my phone, then it looks like I'm looking at my phone. So I'm just like, I'm here. I can't see anything.
He said nothing, and he just says Moswell sounds not so smart right now. What the heck?
Classic.
That's messed up.
He's still bullying me because he gets bullied now.
He doesn't even
What
get
goes around
bullied.
comes around. I feel like no one on your team probably bullies.
He should though.
I bully everybody on my team. I don't know what you're talking about.
You're evil.
No.
Okay, I don't bully Cyno. That's one thing I don't. Okay.
There's one dynamic that I could see somebody getting bullied, and I could see Cyclone bullying Baskin, and that's it. That's the only one.
That's fair. They bully each other though. I feel like sometimes. I feel like I bully Paul. Paul bullies me.
Mm.
I kind of bully Baskin sometimes, and he bullies me as well. I don't know. We're a bunch of bullies on one team. It's kind of messed up if you think about it.
Dude, you got to be careful with that. Too many bullies. Too many bullies in the barn. You know what they say about that?
Or Royce is kind of like fake. Like he acts nice all the time, and then he's just kind of evil.
I'm super evil. MOSWAL hates the evil me, dude. So he just hates me because that's who I am all the time, right, MOSWAL?
Yeah,
That's why
you're
you
always
never.
you're
Mo-
toxic and ranked all the time.
That's why you don't play WoW with anyone anymore. I've heard that.
Oh
yeah.
my god.
MOSWAL's mad that I stopped playing, but MOSWAL barely even played WoW with me when I played anyways, so I don't even know why he was
You
mad
never
that I
asked
stopped.
me to. You never asked me to do any
See, do you
pluses.
see what he says right here? I always ask him to play, and then he either says I'm making food or I can't.
Nice.
That's your
Just throw
favorite
me
thing
under
to
the bus.
say. You literally always say you have something better to do than playing ranked with me or playing Mythic Plus with me whenever I ask you to play something.
Yeah, my favorite rank game with you was whenever you said nothing, tried to invade their speed.
Sir,
I
in
forgot what
season 8?
yeah, and then you said nothing, died, and kept doing it over and over again. You just kept dying.
And you
You're
said
like 1 in 12.
you were like
You said nothing for 40 minutes.
You said the funniest part about that, which made me laugh kind of in the game, even though I was frustrated. Like, you're like, you're really happy right now. When I was like a 1 in 9 or something, and I thought that was so funny, and I was like, yeah, I'm so happy. Oh my god.
That's good.
Is there anything else you want to talk about, MOSWAL, or no?
I'm good. I can't think of anything.
Thanks for coming on. We definitely appreciate it. It was fun. Dude, you're our last online guest for the foreseeable future. Yeah.
Nice. That's the best one for last right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's what you gotta do. You gotta save the best for last.
You had to listen to me and Mike talk about invading for a little bit.
Do we know what we're doing for sure next week, Aurora?
We don't have an exact. I don't know if it's confirmed, but I think there should be an episode next week, and it's gonna be in person if it is. If there's not, then there'll for sure be an episode the week after that. But I'm gonna be back in Georgia, so like the format that we had where we were in the studio is gonna pick back up when I'm there for everybody.
Yeah.
But it's either gonna start back up next weekend or the week after that. But me and Mike still gotta sort that out.
Yeah.
Is there anywhere
We'll update
where
you guys, of course.
is there anything, or is there anywhere you want people to find you at MOSWAL, like on Twitter or like anything like that, or is there anything?
I literally never tweet ever. I don't do anything.
Do you want them to add your BattleNet so you have more people to play WoW with?
I think I'm done with WoW for night now.
Yeah, he actually just hates all you guys in chat.
Are you gonna play hardcore MOSWAL?
Yeah, I think so.
Nice. What are you gonna play?
Warlock, I think.
You are actually disgusting.
MOSWAL's either a Warlock or a Shadow Priest. He's nothing else.
Those are both so broken, man. That's
not
broken.
true.
No. I was about to say you're an imposter warrior, not a real warrior. You just play warrior because you rage. That's your rage class that you play. Because you actually you role play as yourself. That's why you play warrior, because you're raging in game to do more damage. So you only play warrior if you're not getting the right buffs on your classes that you're playing. So like if you're not having a mage buff you, this latest patch, that's why you played your warriors. So you're just raging outside of the game, and then you're like, it's time to rage inside the game as well. And then that's what you do. You just, when you're mad, you play your warrior. That's the only time you play. You're just an imposter. You're not a real warrior player. It's like my friend. It's like my friend Azaleus or Zach. He only plays. He calls himself a warlock player, but he always plays demon hunter now. Like he's just an imposter demon hunter or warlock player. Like you're a warrior player. You guys are just both fake. You call me fake. You're the real fake one here.
Right. Well, I kind of hate warlock now, to be honest.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You're mad. You're raging about warlock, so you play your warrior.
No, I'm raging about Shadow Priest because they nerf it.
Yeah, but then you play warrior.
Yeah, because Arms Warrior is fun.
No, because you're mad, not because it's fun. That's why you play it.
I'm not doing this, man.
Well, thanks MOSWAL for coming on, and thanks everybody for tuning in. We will update you guys what the plan is for next week. If we do an episode, it'll be in studio, and yeah, we'll keep you guys up to date. You can follow MOSWAL on Twitter if you want. I don't know if he doesn't want you to, but we did add his Twitter, so it's already out there.
I had the wrong Twitter first, and MOSWAL flamed me about it. I started laughing so hard. I thought that was so. That was
sometimes there's a lot of MOSWALs out there. Sometimes you get so many people just want to be him now, but you got to find MOSWAL 21.
I don't know why the original MOSWAL got taken. This is literally a random generated name from World of Warcraft.
Maybe he played WoW. You never know.
Well, yeah, I gotta look this up. Who is? I'm gonna look up who the original MOSWAL is. Apparently, according to Twitter.
While you're looking that up, the other thing is that I know people have been asking about the episodes on Spotify. All the episodes are going to be uploaded soon on Spotify, at least the online episodes. I don't think any of them are there yet, but we're working on getting that sorted out. If it's not on by the end of next week, or by the end of this week, it'll be on there by the end of next week for sure. So just if you're interested in listening to it on Spotify, it'll be there soon for all the online episodes.
Yeah, and if you do want that Spotify, it's inside the SPL. And then we'll probably be back next week right here on Aurora's Twitch, and you can also find episodes on my YouTube at PBM Smite. But yeah, thanks everybody for hanging out, listening. Thanks again, MOSWAL.